this nonsense. I'll admit, I didn't think you were capable of reaching this level of power. No more games or half measures.
What's up, everyone?
Can you hear me? Flying Nimbus trucks! I've set a super time machine, as well as a crate of supplies. Here's how to launch. Find the power keys, then place them in the right spots.
You're my savior. Thanks.
Flying Nimbus! Ally down! If you intend to rescue them, watch out for enemies. An ally needs your help. We don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in. You found a power key. Go slot it.
Well, since I'm here, I might as well set the key.
This is bad. Somebody's down.
What's going on, guys? Man's are getting mashed up already.
Caution if you're going to help them. What's the big idea? Great. Shall we? Great. You know what to do with that key. An ally needs your help. Flying Nimbus. Don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in.
What the hell's going on, man?
Shall we strike? Zamasu? Of course, Zamasu.
Three level 2s right
That's
now.
a new power key. Place it now.
Probably just gonna head to E after this. Civilian crime. Save this chick. Oh, no one's saving that guy.
Thank you so
Unless he's getting body cam, probably.
Ally down. If you intend to rescue them, watch out for enemies.
Yeah, we're done for. Escape time machine flex. this guy goes down too, then the match is basically over.
An ally needs your help. We don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in.
A lot of cooldown drinks today. But we ain't using it. See? A lot of cooldown drinks, bro. Alright, once this person dies, then the game's over. I'm not saving him.
Flying Nimbus! The escape time machine's ready to launch. Ignore the power keys. Get out of there. There's a beacon where the blue light is. Do you see it? Head that way fast. I've sent the escape time machine. Use it to get out of there.
Here comes the Masu. Annoying ass. So annoying, bro. I don't understand how this guy comes straight towards you, like he knows exactly where you are. That AI is annoying.
I've sent the escape time machine. Use it to get out of there.
Should I save this guy? Where you at, bro? Get out of here. Fortunately, this match was pretty trash, but on to the next. Gonna continue watching the manga till we find another match.
Interesting. Well, although I admire your efforts in trying to go head-to-head against me while you're at your base here, Gohan, you and I both know that this isn't going to work against me here, son. And so because of this, you will need more power, Goku continues, because while I understand that you are trying to do your best while you can at your base, it just simply won't work here against me, Gohan. And while there is no telling on what waits for us with those demons planning on dropping in and out the way they currently are, Goku continues, you'll just simply need to go and fight using everything you have here against me if you hope to survive, Gohan. But it was only despite with Gohan's defiance, with Gohan shown having to attempt to strike Goku, with Goku being shown grabbing onto his punch, was when Gohan then went on to respond, well, I'm not going to stop trying until I know that I have capped out on my base, even if you are vastly more powerful than I am within the moment, Dad. And so while I'm not looking to go and quit now, and while I'm not looking to go and give in to your power, I'm not done. Well, you still don't seem to get it, son. While I do admire your efforts in trying to strengthen your base level here against me while hoping to grow stronger along the way, Goku says, and I want you to go and show me more of your latent power that you and I both know which lies deep within you, because if you are truly planning on countering those demons by simply using your base level, then you've already lost, Goku responds upon being shown headbutting Gohan down onto the ground. And so I want you to please understand that what I'm doing here isn't by any means putting you down, Gohan, Goku continues, but it's only to simply go and remind you that if you don't give it your all to fight and win, you will lose. And so if you wish to stand with us in case something were to happen against those demons, then I would need for you to go and continue to push, Gohan, Goku says. For we all know that you have the power to go and achieve great things, Gohan, but you have to go and think about what we're about to go up against and the dangers that lie ahead of us, because if I was able to see it firsthand for myself, then you can only imagine as to what lies ahead. And in order for us to ensure that nothing ever happens to our world, Goku says, as well as those who we love, our friends and our families, then we've got to stand at our strongest no matter what it's going to take, Gohan. Because if you don't wish to have what happened before to happen again, then I'll need for you to go and rise and show me what your full power is capable of in battle, Goku says. No, I cannot have what happened here on Earth with Murno to ever take place ever again, Gohan says. Ever again. Never, Gohan then began to glow, as Goku then went on to fall on back upon Gohan having to ignite his power by then responding, incredible, but wait a second, this isn't Gohan's newly unlocked beast form that Piccolo had went and told me about, for this actually feels a little familiar to something else, but since when was Gohan able to go and achieve this transformation, Goku ponders? But of course, for I always knew that Gohan had the ability to go and reach the same status as I was able to reach in achieving Super Saiyan 3, but I just can't help but wonder on why he decided to go and use this, rather than instead go and jump right into using his beast form here against me. But even now, as I'm sure that whatever reason that is that Gohan has in using this, I'm sure it's because he wants to go and gauge his lower levels here against me before having to go and decide to go and use his strongest against mine, as it was only then through the smoke as Super Saiyan 3 Gohan was then shown having to emerge, was where this also went as far as to shock both Beerus and Whis, including Goku himself as well, as Gohan then went on to quickly respond. Now, although this wasn't something that you were probably expecting for me to go and dish out here against you, Dad, but before I go into using my beast form here against your Ultra Instinct level, I just want to go and see as to where my other levels stack up here against you, so that way I can be sure of what I can go and use whenever the right time calls for me to go and use them in battle, with Beerus having to then respond, hold on there, the boy can also wield that ridiculously long-haired form that Goku wields too? But since
guys,
when?
found another match.
Wow,
Just started in 2
incredible.
minutes.
Just look at you, Gohan, Goku went on to then respond, for you have no idea on how proud I am of you to have to see this, and so this should be really exciting for us both, that much I'm sure of, and so are you ready? And I just want to go on ahead and urge you, because I don't plan on holding back here either against you, Gohan, Goku says, and that is whether you end up using Super Saiyan 3 or not, with Gohan responding, well, I don't expect anything less from you here, Dad, but for what it's worth, while I'm already using this form here against you, you better not go and expect for me to go easy on you here either, because I'm going into this fight with the mindset to destroy you one way or another. Well, as impressive as you are, and with the amount of power that you were able to channel through your Super Saiyan 3 level, Goku,
Level 23. As long as we jump him while he's level 2, we should be good.
Can you hear me? Flying Nimbus Trunks! I've set a super time machine, as well as a crate of supplies. Here's how to launch. Find the power keys, then place them in the right spots.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Oh, man. Flying Nimbus!
Get the hell out of here.
You found a power key. Go slot it.
Where's this bike?
Stay calm. Stay calm.
Just around the corner. Oh, we got KO'd. Took too long.
Oh man.
Actually, best thing to do is just to go hide for a bit. Hope he doesn't see us.
Please save me. You have my thanks.
Alright, someone's setting this key. I'm just gonna head to A. C key needs to be set. But he's already over there. Alright, head to C then.
Well
The key's not up here, it's probably underwater. Fucking trap.
Great. You found another power key. Use it quick. Ally down. Stay calm. Stay calm. Watch out.
This guy was just in A. I left A. Now he's over here.
Oh man.
Eat it, dog. Other guy, someone disconnected, unfortunately. Can I see where this guy is?
Stay calm. Stay calm. Oh man. Stay calm. Stay calm.
It's getting annoying.
Oh man. You better show me a real good time. That's a new power key. Place it now.
Someone found a key.
The startup system for the super time machine is ready. Head there now.
How much dragonballs we have? 5. We have all of them. We just need to link up. Who's gonna summon? I'll summon. Gonna drop the ball, homie? And where's the last one? That's the last Dragon Ball. Guy's all the way up there. Oh, this guy's not selling right now. If he wants to be a dick, I'll just give him the ball.
You've got all 7 Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Summon Shinron at the altar. The startup system's under attack. It's dangerous.
Summon right here.
Tread carefully if you want to get closer. I'll send some supplies to help. Make good use of them.
What you gotta shoot me for, bro? Go to the time machine, do something productive.
Now it shall be done. I will grant your wish.
Here comes a pain.
Only one more person with a dragon change. I don't want to end up getting cooked. Oh, this guy destroyed it, man. Oh my gosh, these guys suck. Can't see with this thing in my face. Gosh. You destroying the area? One person left. 60 seconds to try to win this match. Come on, where's my teammates, bro? We are close, man. Okay, bro, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's still 4 people alive. We can still win this match, guys. There's 10 seconds left. One person left. Come on. I missed. Hit him. Damn it. Bro, these escape time machine guys are such pussies, bro. Just ruined the fucking match. He got lucky because no one defended the time machine.
Who responds? At this rate, you simply won't be fast enough to compete against me, Gohan. With Gohan responding, well, you can just go and forget about having me go and bend the knee and surrender on over to you, because unlike how it was when Murno had attacked us, this time around, I'm not going to allow for that to happen ever again, and so I will continue to go and test my will against your Ultra Instinct powers until I am left with no other choice than to give you my all, Dad. But it was only just upon with Goku being shown having to break away just before having to go back on the offensive was when Goku then went on to quickly respond, well, although I admire your will to never allow to have what happened to ever go and happen again to you or anyone else again, Gohan, then you'll need to go and stake everything on the line against whatever it is that's coming if you hope to truly never fall like how you once fell ever again, Gohan. And although none of us can truly be sure of what it is that is waiting for us on the other side of that demon realm,
Appreciate
Goku
the
then went
heart
on to
service
proceed by
and
having to be shown punching Gohan in the face. And while I am very proud to see how far you've come in achieving such power, I ask of you to go beyond using Super Saiyan 3, because if you still think that you are going to be any sort of match against me as you are, then all I'm going to continue to do here is throw you around on your face until you finally get the wake-up call that I've been trying to get you to realize, Gohan. Oh, darn it. Well, so much for expecting for Super Saiyan 3 to make much of a difference. And to make matters even worse is that it doesn't even look as though you've broken a sweat here against me either, Gohan says, with Goku responding, well, that's because I didn't, but it was as I had said, for if you wish to engage me and know where you stand when comparing our power, Goku says, then please go and put aside anything that might be holding you back and show me your all, Gohan, as a tired Gohan then went on to respond, right, and so then I was right when I had originally assumed that using this form against you wasn't going to be more than likely what would get me very far here in this battle against you, and since I'm now left with no other choice voice, I can now start to see that this won't be enough, and now you leave me with no other choice than to do what I gotta do, even if it goes and breaks me in the end, Gohan continues. And so if this is what I'll go and need to do in order to prove my worth here against you, then I will go and give you everything that you've been asking for, Dad. To which it was only within that very moment then, as Super Saiyan 3 Gohan was then shown igniting his beast power and transforming even further, was when Goku then went on to respond, "What an incredible energy. Good, Gohan. Just let it all out there, son. That's the way, because I always knew that you had the power deep down within you to go and create the change that you wanted to see, and so now become that change, Gohan," with Whis having to then chime in, "Well, now this ought to be good now that Gohan has realized that he will need to go all out against his father if he hopes to walk away from this battle as its winner. And so now because of this, I do believe that this is going to be a very fun battle to now watch," as Beerus went on to then respond, "Yeah, well, they better go and hurry it up and get this over with, because my planet isn't their personal playground to just go and do whatever they want with it, Whis." To which it was only just upon with Gohan being shown finally completing his transformation, with Goku being shown having to call Gohan out, was when Goku then went on to respond, "And there it is. This was what I wanted to go and see from you, Gohan, and now that you're ready to go and give it your all," Goku says, "what do you say you go and come at me and show me what this beast power of yours is truly made of?" To which, as Beast Gohan was then shown having to do exactly that, was when Gohan then went on to respond, "Well, suit yourself then, Dad, and so if this is how you want to go and do this, then do yourself a favor and stay right where you are, and I'll go and gladly give you exactly what you've been wanting to get out of me." But then, it was only just upon with Beast Gohan being shown having to throw the first punch, with Goku catching it and creating a shockwave along the way, was when Whis went on to then quickly chime back in, "Oh my, how truly amazing to watch unfold, for I can only hope that Goku is able to go and get exactly what he wanted by challenging his son to a contest like this. And because while I expect for Goku to remain in full control of this battle out here against Gohan," Whis continues, "and I will go as far as to admit that even I'm starting to get a little excited in seeing as to how this is going to go. But what say you, Lord Beerus?" With Beerus shouting, "What incredible force!" And Goku was able to catch and grab hold of his son's attack seemingly with ease. "Now this is what I'm talking about, Gohan," Goku responds, "and I'll honestly say that I wouldn't want it to go any other way. And so now what do you say? You nervous, or do you still want to go and continue?" With Beast Gohan responding, "I knew that this was what you wanted to go and see from me, but nervous? Not even close," Gohan says. "And so now let us go and resume where we had originally left off, because between you and I, Dad, I never felt more alive to be doing this." But then, it was only secretly enough, as the Demon Haas was then shown having to reappear by opening up a small portal and observing Gohan's battle with Goku, was when Haas went on to then respond, "They're all just great, for I was warned that some of these creatures were going to pose a significant threat to most of us within the demon realm, but I didn't actually want to go and believe that there would be more of them out there who would turn out to be ultimately this powerful like this. But even now, while I watch and study their fighting patterns," Haas continues, "I must be very careful, for if I were to go and be spotted while trying to keep myself from being seen by those worms, then they're all more than likely going to be all over me, and I don't look forward to having such a thing go and happen. But from what I can gather down there between these two, it would only appear as though that the boy's father, who goes by Goku, is by far the stronger and vastly more experienced mortal between them, but this other one here that goes by Gohan is also someone to keep a very close eye on," Haas continues, "because if they continue to go and train like this routinely, then this isn't going to be good, which is why I was sent here and seeing as to who exactly the Dark Master should go and keep an eye on. And while I have this chance to go and watch and study everything that I can and learning more about who the Dark Master should go and look after in case they were to battle them, I must be patient and remain hidden." To which it was only more over now back on over with the battle involving Goku and Gohan, with Gohan now shown getting the better of Goku momentarily, was when Gohan then went on to quickly respond, "You know, I'm not so sure that if it's just me here or what, but you don't seem to be holding out so well out here against me, Dad. And if that ends up being the case, then for your sake, I hope that you aren't holding anything back here against me," Gohan then went on to uppercut Goku in the face. "And that is because you'd only be fooling yourself to think that I'll go and take it easy on you either way, and so if this was what you wanted to go and get out of me, then you can go and make no mistake about the fact that you are getting exactly what you've been asking for from me, and I'm not going to let up on you until I know that I am indeed more than strong enough to stand across from you in battling against the demon realm. But then, it was only despite with Beast Gohan being shown having to miss his hammer strike, with Goku being shown having to counter him, was when Whis went on to then chime back in. And so now tell me, what do you think so far, Lord Beerus? The boy is quite the impressive fighter when using this new beast form of his now, isn't he? As I can actually go and imagine as to how strong he could truly become if Goku continues to push him like this, but I'd rather dare go and say that he's proven more than enough so far, wouldn't you say? With the shocked Beerus having to then shout, "Oh, what are those two idiots doing? They're going to destroy my entire planet if they continue to fight the way they are, and so enough is enough, Whis! As if they go and continue to fight like this, then those idiots are going to destroy everything, Whis, and so you've got to go and stop them right now!" Well, to be honest, I don't think that there is any need for us to go and get in between their battle now, since I do believe that their brief contest is about to come to a close now, but wait a minute now. It was only just then during the middle of Goku and Gohan's engagement where Whis had gone as far as to sense something very disturbing, as Whis went on to then say to himself,
Right now we're
hold
7
on
out of
now,
8.
could
Just need
that
one
be
more,
what I
hopefully.
think it is? But of
Beating Q for
course,
almost 8
now
minutes now.
I see. No, wait, hold on for just 1 second there, Dad, because I'm not sure what it is that I'm looking at over there, but is it me, or are we being watched by one of those little demons all the way over there behind you, Dad? With Goku responding, what? Being watched by a demon? This isn't a trick or anything now, is it, Gohan? Because I'm not sensing anything around us, and so are you sure that there's actually something there, Gohan? With Gohan responding, no, I'm serious, Dad, so just look, over there, you see it? As I thought it was just me at first, but I think that thing had been spying on us the entire time, with Goku responding, hey, wait a minute, you're right. Well, you can stop pretending like we can't see you now, because you aren't fooling anyone here by trying to blend in while spying on us, demon. But then, it was only just with the demon Haas beginning to realize that he was caught onto by having Goku and Gohan notice him, was when Haas then went on to quickly respond, wait, what? They were able to stop me moving about up here? Oh, just great. As I was wrong to just remain in one spot while watching them, and so I have to hurry and leave. But then, it was just before the demon Haas even had the opportunity in returning back into the demon realm, was when Whis appeared from out of nowhere and grabbing onto Haas by then responding, I'm sorry, but were you about to go and take your leave in thinking that we weren't going to catch up to you? Because you'd honestly be mistaken if you did, and so now I don't remember giving you any sort of
now we're
special
7 out of
permission
8,
in
just need
being
one more.
able to come onto this world and spy on us after previously being said to have touched down onto this world. And so now because of that, you aren't going anywhere, with the terrified demon Haas responding, wait, now just hold on there for just a moment, okay? Just wait, because I didn't come here to start any sort of trouble. In fact, I actually came here to, apologize to your god of destruction for the fight that we... Oh, really now? So you're meaning to tell me that you decided to travel and come back all this way just to apologize to Lord Beerus? Well, that's interesting, but between you and I, if I'm going to be honest here and say, I don't really believe you. In fact, Demon, I actually believe that you are here for other reasons, and it would be wise for you to tell us as to what those reasons are now before it's too late. With the Demon Haas responding, just wait a minute here. I swear that I'm telling you the truth, Angel. I felt a little bad about what we had went and did here earlier, and so I wanted to go and maybe see if I could make it up to your destroyer somehow, you know? Is that true, Lord Beerus? Goku then went on to further question. Was he one of the demons that went and started all of the trouble that you and Vegeta had to deal with before me and Gohan had arrived? But why would he come back so soon? With Beerus responding, yes, it was the loud one. You do understand that by coming back onto my planet after what you did here is an automatic death sentence, don't you? And here you say that you came back into my universe so that you can go and apologize, did you? Well then, why did it go and take you so long to apologize if you've been here the entire time that these two here have been training, Demon? Right, and since you claim that you were here to apologize to Lord Beerus, well then, here you go. Whis went on to then throw Demon Haas against Beerus. For now, you will go and have the chance, with Haas responding, hey wait, what are you doing to my portal, Angel? Oh, I'm just going to make sure that you don't try and take the easy way out and leave so quickly without, of course, having to answer a few questions in the meantime. time, so that this way we can also make sure that no one interrupts our conversation in the meantime either. Wait, you don't really think that I just leave now, do ya? I'm telling you the truth here, honestly, as I was only doing what I was told to come here and do, and so why don't we just, you know, kinda just forget about what happened here before and just move on, you know, maybe just become friends? With Vegeta having to look up by then responding, him again? But why would he be back so soon after having to take what he was sent here to collect like this?
Trying to refresh the game,
There
but
has to be
they're back
something
in queue
more
now.
to this demon that he simply isn't telling them up there. Well now, is that so, demon? Tell me something, Beerus then went on to question. Do you take me for some kind of a fool here? Because if you truly think that I care about any sort of false apology of yours and for me to think that you only came back onto my world just for that, then you are gravely mistaken, creature. And to think that I would allow for you to just sneak your way back up here was a mistake, Beerus continues. But now that you're here, I can only go as far as to assure you one very important thing, and that is that this time around, you will not be so lucky to escape this world as you were shown having to be so lucky to do before, demon. But then, it was only out of sheer
Alright,
fear
you jumped to
itself as
7 out
Demon
of 8,
Haas
so
attempted to fly
hopefully
on
you get a
down and
maximum.
creating a portal to escape was when Haas then went on to quickly shout, No, the hell with all of you! You will never force me to talk, so goodbye! But then, it was only just within the nick of time as Vegeta was able to stop Haas from flying through the portal and kicking him in the face was when Vegeta then went on to quickly respond, as if you truly think that we are going to allow for you to slip past us and escape once again is ridiculous, demon. And so for the time being, you aren't going anywhere, and so you might as well better start getting comfortable fast, because we aren't letting you out of our sights again. To which, as everyone was then shown having to look down, was when Goku then went on to chime in, man, it's like these guys just don't know when to admit that they've gone and went too far, you know? Because now that he's all alone down there with no other demons to save him, this isn't going to be good, as Whis went on to then respond, well, as it shouldn't, since they are all the main reasons as to why all of this has been happening, and so it is only right that he remains here for the time being until we can get him to speak on the matter, as Beerus went on to then respond, well, for what it's worth, he's not going anywhere because I'm going to make sure that he suffers greatly for trespassing onto my domain. As with the demon now having to be left completely defenseless and also now being outnumbered and having to face off against Beerus, Whis, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, was when Beerus went on to then touch back down by then responding, so you returned to spy on my planet after everything you've done to cause the mess that you did here on my world now, did you? And as I have tolerated far too many intrusions into Universe 7 as of late, and here you are slithering back like the foul creature that you are, and honestly truly thinking that we weren't going to catch you, Beerus continues. Well, would you go and look at that now, you disgusting little worm? Tell me, did you really think that hiding within the shadows was going to keep you safe long enough for us not to grab hold of you? For you would have been mistaken, as you must have some kind of a death wish for coming back here to spy on my planet after everything you've caused and all the chaos you've helped spread throughout my universe. And yet even now you still dare
Alright, let's try to get this W.
Give me the
If I get 2 Namekians without Dragon Balls, I can get my level 2 quicker, but this guy had one, unfortunately.
Well then, give me the Dragon Ball.
They have the A key found so far. As long as I get my level 3, we're good.
Eradicate them!
Who else is trying to fight me? Level effect, homie. One more. See this guy over here. And he is gone. Sniped him. Alright, we got our level 3. They got all the keys though. I'm gonna save that guy up there. Should have never came for this person. I got distracted. Two more kills and we get level 4. There's someone right there. Alright, we get it, bro. There's someone nearby. I hear them jumping. Put as much damage on this machine as possible. There's a Dende nearby too. Escape time machine guys are already on it. Easy win. 3 of them left. Didn't even try to fight. I was gonna let them go, but since you want to be a ding dong. Destroy A, get it over with. Time's up. They tried, but You know what they say, they're no match for me.
To return, for I'll be the first to go and tell you that this isn't bravery, demon, but more or less rather for you, it's death, Beerus continues, for spying on my world was not just foolish, but it was a declaration of war against me, and so now tell me, why exactly are you crawling around within my universe, Beerus questions, and what exactly did you go and do with my blood samples that you have collected, for I want to know every secret that you carry and every scrap of information that you have, or you miserable little creature, I will go on to rip your very essence apart until there is nothing left that remains of you but dust within the wind, demon. And so now start talking or I am going to vaporize you until there is nothing left. As a frightened demon Haas then went on to quickly respond, Wait, okay, I'll talk, because since I already have nothing more that's left for me to lose here against you, then I guess I am hereby left with no other choice but to then tell you, but I will go as far as to say that no matter what you try and do, and no matter what you try and convince yourself with, once this is all said and done, you are all doomed once the Dark Masters are able to finally have their way with your blood destroyer. Because while you may assume that you and your kind are irreplaceable by design, wait until you get a look at what our top scientists have been engineering by using your DNA. And so for me, well, I'm just the lookout, Haas continues, the watchful eye, if you will. And so because I am, I will be the least of your worries, God of Destruction. But I will say that if you think that it'll stop with me, then you are sadly mistaken, Haas says. And that is because let's just say if you do go and take my life as a result, there will always be another that will go and take my place as being the watchful eye of the Demon Realm Destroyer. And so now you can just go ahead and do to me as you'd like, but sooner or later the same will be done unto you once Lord Raijin and the Dark Masters come bursting through your front door, God of Destruction. And so no matter what you go and try and threaten me with, you will, I've heard all that I needed to hear out of you, Beerus went on to then suddenly interrupt, for if that is all that you have to offer me while your life dangles on the line here in front of me, demon, enough is enough, Beerus continues, and since you have lived far longer than you should have been allowed to go and live, this is where you will go and meet the end of your line, demon. But then, it was suddenly from out of nowhere as Demon Haas then began to glow, with even Haas himself not knowing as to what was going on, was when Haas then went on to quickly respond, what the? And just what is this? Wait. Oh no. This isn't coming from the Destroyer, but rather, no, please, Master, I beg of you, just please go and give me another chance. Hey, Gohan then went on to quickly chime in, is he supposed to be glowing like that, or? Wait a minute now, Beerus went on to then quickly respond, and just what exactly is this creature up to? Why is he suddenly starting to glow with this strange dark energy around him? But then, it was only just upon with Beerus now beginning to ponder on this question, with the Demon Haas's body being shown having to get tugged towards an incoming portal, was when the Demon God Raijin then went on to chime in.
That's enough, for you have gone as far as you possibly could go, and yet even your best has proven to have been a mistake, and a mistake that will cost you dearly, demon, for what an utterly pathetic and useless creature you are to have been captured the way that you have, as I will hereby ensure that you are dealt with once we have returned back into the demon realm, and I'll go and make sure of that personally. But for the time being, you are to wait for my return and stay out of my way.
And the others cannot believe it, because with Gohan, Beerus, and Goku now left baffled at seeing Raijin now for the very first time, was when Beerus then went on to chime back in. Wait a minute now, and just what gives here? What is this? And what exactly is that which is starting to manifest on the other side here? Is that another demon? No, this appears to be something more, with Gohan responding, whoa, and just who the heck is that? And that energy, look, I think he's starting to peer through now, as Whis went on to then touch down by then chiming in. Listen to me very carefully. For the time being, I want you to go and hold your ground and do not engage, Lord Beerus. For if this is whom I think that it is, then I want you to cease any attacks for as long as you can, as Raijin then went on to peer through by then responding, so I see that you have grown quite frail since the last time I had gone as far as to watch you gods of destruction come into your positions of power, and ever since, the tales of your destruction don't appear to have done you any justice, Beerus. For not only have you become a mockery of what a true god is supposed to represent, but for you to also house mortal warriors on your planet like this was but all another reason as to why that fallen angel Murno should have destroyed you all when he had the chance, Raijin says. And as that angel should have went and set aside his pride and finished what he had went and started, but no matter, because of all the universes that I've been told about, your universe appears to be the most troublesome of the 12, and so now I can't help but wonder, after finally having to meet you, on whether or not it is your incompetence or is it your arrogance that allows for such weakness to flourish within such a universe as this one, as Goku then went on to quickly chime in. That energy, but of course, for it has to be him. That's the one. That's the Dark Lord of the Underworld that I had overheard the Dark Masters in wanting to go and set free, Lord Beerus. For I can now remember on sensing this exact power when I was held captive within the demon realm, and so I know that's Lord Raijin. Wait a minute now, so this was the power that you had been sensing while down there now, is it? So this is the god of the demon realm then? Well, so be it. As Raijin went on to then continue, then to think that a god of destruction would go and stoop so low as to fraternize with mere mortals disgusts me. You and your kind, you so-called deities, have become soft, complacent, and tainted by the influence of those who you are meant to tower above. For do you believe that their lives gives you purpose, god of destruction, Raijin questions? Or have you already forgotten what it means to wield true divine authority since I've been away? And as that rotten angel Murno was right to have wanted to wipe you all out when he saw the opportunity in doing so, but it's just too bad that just like you, he simply wasn't strong enough to see through with his mission until the very end of his miserable and pathetic erasure. But unlike him, I, on the other hand, will not falter, for my mission isn't to destroy you all, because why waste all of this valuable life when I can enslave you rather than simply eliminate you, Raijin says. For I do not fear you creatures, even yourself, god of destruction, and so don't go and assume that I would, because maybe if it were not for your association with such life forms, then maybe you would have still been able to command a little bit of respect around here, even as I stand before your presence. As Beerus went on to then respond, you know, I find your arrival onto my planet to be quite the impressive one, because even while it's only been just a few minutes since you've been standing there and running your mouth towards me, have I only grown to now despise you ever so much. But here, Beerus continues upon being shown sticking his arm out, let me go and give you a little friendly reminder on just how soft and complacent we deities can really be, since it only now appears as though that you may have seemed to have forgotten, demon. And so now do yourself a favor while you're here and just hold still and stay right where you are and allow for me to go and leave you speechless, Beerus says. To which it was only seconds later within that very moment, as Beerus had went as far as to let out multiple energy blasts at Raijin, was when surprisingly enough Raijin went on to freeze each and every single one
just
of
starting
Beerus's
a minute or
blasts
two.
by then responding, fine then, if you insist, then I shall remain where I am, but tell me, this certainly wasn't the kind of speechless that you had originally intended on leaving me now, was it? With a surprised Beerus then going off by responding, wait, say what now? But how did he just go and stop them in their place like that without having to even go as far as to move a muscle. Did anyone else go and see him move? Because I certainly didn't, with Ultra Instinct Goku responding, no, but what does it look like that he is about to go and do? As Raijin went on to then stick his arm out by then responding, just because I may appear to look old does not mean that I still haven't retained the vast amount of knowledge that I have accumulated throughout my time as the god of the underworld. For even though I have yet to fully cross over into your realm while remaining where I currently am, Raijin continues, does not mean that I still cannot go and use my magic to my advantage here against you if I need to. And so if you confuse my appearance in assuming that I am indeed no match for either of you, Raijin went on to then snap his fingers.
Level 43. As long as we jump him at level 2, we should be good. What's going on with this internet, man? Gotcha.
Can you hear me? It's Flying Nimbus! I've set a super time machine, as well as a crate of supplies. Here's how to launch. Find the power keys, then place them in the right spots.
That sucks. Whenever we lose someone from the start, it's a bad sign.
Power key. Go slot it. That's a new power key. Place it now. And now, together for justice.
I just got a power key there too.
And bring about you. Ally down! If you intend to rescue them, watch out for enemies. Come
All we can do is wait.
Fulfill your wish and strike you from existence itself. Blasted. You know what to do with that key. Hang in there! I owe you one.
Hope he doesn't come back here. Still have to find the E key though. I'm out of here.
That's a new power key. Place it now.
Look at this guy, so annoying, bro. Beat it.
My paradise. Come, mortal, I'll fulfill your wish and strike you from existence itself.
Somebody's down. Exercise extreme caution if you're going to help them.
Damn, homie. I'm gonna come save you if I can.
Great. You know what to do with that key.
It's one more reason.
Flying Nimbus! An ally needs your help. We don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in. The startup system for the super time machine is ready. Head there now. I think you
Trying to take the long way.
use it to hold the enemy back.
There's a transfer over there.
Get on.
Take that drink. I'm gonna grab the transfer.
Ally down. If you intend to rescue them, watch out for it.
And there goes our level 3.
Enemy.
Come on, guys. Just go help him out.
Startup system is under attack. Stop it if you can, but retreat.
It's our level 3, so we need to keep him alive. I need you guys to go to the time machine.
The startup system's under attack. It's dangerous, so tread carefully if you want to get closer.
We got cooked.
Apply yourself. Make good use of it.
Where'd he go? Come on, where's everyone else, dog? Bro, I cannot fight this guy properly. Okay, we got some people on the time machine though, so that's good. I tried, guys, I tried. Save that guy. Save me next. Come on, guys. Go to the time machine, please. Fuck me. No one had no stuns or nothing. Like, they make this game so unfair, man. Get cooked in a couple of hits. No damage, bro. You can't 1v1 the Raider. It's impossible. If we had more people hitting with some stuns on the time machine, we probably could have won. But he transformed to level 4, unfortunately. Back to manga.
Upon now being shown blowing away all of Beerus's blasts, then you are all gravely mistaken if you think that I would fold under such circumstances and conditions, with Beast Gohan then quickly asking, "Oh, and so how's about it then? Should we go and blast him out of that wormhole or what, Dad?" With Goku responding, "Right then, and so now let's go and show him otherwise then, Gohan, so on your move." To which, as Gohan and Goku were then shown having to attempt to blast Raijin, was when Raijin had then gone as far as to reposition his arm upwards and redirecting their attacks by then responding, "Such feeble attempts of daring to try and attack me as a collective will only go as far as to ensure one thing when this is all over, and that one thing that I will go as far as to guarantee is your complete and absolute obliteration from the face of existence without possibly having to return." "Oh, just great," Gohan says. "Well, brace yourselves everyone, cause it looks like it's making its way right back towards us." But then, it was only from out of nowhere with Whis now shown using his staff and having to smack away Goku and Gohan's collective attacks away from everyone, was when Whis went on to then respond, "That's far enough, demon, for I will not allow for you to go and turn this planet into your own personal sandbox of destruction while I'm here," as Raijin went on to then respond, "But of course, and then there's you, Angel Whis of the 7th, and just what exactly do you think gives you the right to intervene?" Raijin questions, "Because if memory serves me to be correct here from what I can remember about you rotten creatures, then you are forbidden to engage with me in battle here lest you warrant your own destruction by the hands of your own father, isn't that right? But since that no longer appears to be the case, what exactly has changed, Angel?" With Whis responding, "I find it quite interesting that you stand there within the shadows of the demon realm and seeking answers about my actions and how they reflect onto our angelic code, but you should go as far as to know that the boundaries which you presume to understand have shifted since Murno's clash here against the multiverse," Whis says. "And if you honestly truly think that I will just stand idly by, constrained by the angelic code which we follow while the multiverse teeters on the edge of calamity, then I must say that you are sorely mistaken, demon. You angels are always so composed and always so certain of the boundaries you've crafted in this little multiversal playground that you protect," Raijin says. "How cheeky of you, but hear me now, Angel, for the day will come where I will gladly go on to accept your challenge when I step through and taste these changed waters that you proudly claim. But that day will not be today, for you see, unlike you who is bound by duty and reaction to follow, I, on the other hand, am already several moves ahead, for there is an artifact that calls for me in the meantime, which coincidentally evidently is a power that both you and your precious order have yet to fully grasp, and once I am able to find all of these pieces which I seek, only then will I therefore go and come for you and your brethrens, for there will be no world and no void in which you will travel and hide in that I will be able to find you all once my mission is hereby finally complete, Raijin continues, and so in the meantime, I will be seeing you all very, very soon. This, mighty angel, I promise you, to which as Raijin was then shown vanishing back within the demon realm was when Beast Gohan then went on to chime back in. Wait, and so what are we all just doing standing around for? Let's go after him before he is able to escape, especially if he's the main guy that's causing all of this, with Whis interrupting. No, you will remain where you are, for entering into the demon realm without the aid of the Grand Minister would be a death sentence for you mortals, and especially with the demon realm itself having to give them a home field advantage, it would be wise for us not to go in there alone to face such creatures unless we absolutely have no choice. And so Lord Beerus, please listen to me while I understand your frustrations towards briefly dealing with this demon god, and I only hereby ask of you to please reserve yourself, for there is nothing that we can do for the time being, as Gohan and Goku went on to power down with Gohan responding, so that's the god of the underworld that you said these Dark Masters were hoping to set free, now was it, Dad? With Goku chiming in, yeah, that's right, he's definitely the one, and now that he's free, this doesn't look like it's going to be an easy battle here to wage against these demons either, with Vegeta having to then respond, damn that bastard, this feels like Murno all over again, especially now that this so-called demon god is back on the loose, because it's clear now that he's up to something, and we have no other choice but to find out as to what that is, with Whis having to then respond, well, now that we are all made very well aware of what exactly is going on around here, I will need for you all to go and keep a very watchful eye while I go and try my best to further better our situation elsewhere, with Beerus questioning, then just what exactly will you be doing in the meantime, because I know that you're up to something, and so what is your move going to be here, Whis? With Whis responding, well, in the meantime, I will go and try to gather together my brothers and sisters in hoping of coming up with a solution and further having to get through to the Omni King while we still can, and while I understand that this will not be easy even for us without the Omni Kings and the Grand Minister at our side, Whis continues, there is no telling on what those creatures will go and continue to do if we allow for their actions to go and continue to go unchecked, for within our code it is said that if an angel or a god of destruction were to go and enter into a ruling domain housed by another deity first, then we are to be destroyed, Whis says, which is why if anything were to happen, we must try to go and get Raijin to cross over into our domain first in order for its deities to be given the right to fight without restriction, just as the case was when Murno had went and arrived when he did, and so I suggest for you all to go and watch your approach while I'm away, but even if you do happen to find yourselves locked within a battle, then do make sure to watch your surroundings at all times, with Beerus being shown turning towards Vegeta and responding, you hear that, Saiyan? This now means that we are all on our own until the Omni Kings and Grand Minister are to join us unless we get the job done ourselves, and unlike how it was before, I don't intend on allowing for those little worms to escape me if they are to return onto my world ever again, you hear me? With Whis having to then respond, and do also bear in mind that we cannot afford to risk having to lose anyone here either in case a battle were to go and break out, Whis says, so while both Goku and Vegeta remain as two of our leading forces in this fight against Raijin and his army, just go and do us all a favor, Saiyans, and just try to do your best and stay alive out there. To which it was only then within that moment as Whis was then shown having to take his leave was when Goku then went on to respond, oh well, in that case we better go and start getting a move on and plan ahead just in case things were to go from bad to worse without having us go and prepare beforehand, with Gohan responding, wait Dad, before we go and do anything, I think it's best if we go and get Broly off of planet Vampa and keep him close just in case we may in fact actually need him for a little later on, with Goku responding, hey, actually as a matter of fact, yeah, I think you're right, but let's just hope that just in case we do, he just doesn't end up absolutely losing his mind during battle and tries to come after one of us instead, but let's go then. And so in the meantime, Goku then went on to address Vegeta by then responding, before I forget, it's better if we just go and grab Broly and come back here, since this already seems like it's going to be a hot spot for a potential battle, and so while we're away, and if you end up finding yourself in some kind of a danger, then just let us know, Vegeta, with Vegeta responding, we'll be fine here in the meantime while you're gone, and so now hurry it up and get going before they end up getting to Broly before you do, to Kakarot, quit wasting time. To which that was exactly what Goku now ended up doing, because with both Gohan and Goku now having to use instant transmission and making their way towards planet Vampa was when Vegeta then went on to continue. Oh, that idiot. Which, speaking of wasting time, if there is one thing that this book that Whis had given me had taught me, it is that it appears as though these demons operate best and at their most lethal when placed within their own domain as a home field advantage, Vegeta says. And if that ends up being the case, then there must be some kind of a counter to having them feed off of that realm in order to remain within the position of control during any battle that they find themselves in. And while we now know on who it is that is after us, Vegeta went on to then continue, then similar to that fallen angel Murno before, I must go on to find a way to prevent what happened prior if we are to go off and face this demon god in battle, and that means having to strive to do everything and anything to beat him. And then just what do you think you're doing? Wake up, Saiyan. Beerus went on to then push Vegeta from behind by then responding, for now is not the time to be daydreaming about your fantasies of overcoming the fear that you once felt when having to battle against that angel, but tell me something, Vegeta. You and I haven't sparred in quite some time since that angel's arrival, now haven't we? Beerus questions. When was the last time that you and I had last battled? With Vegeta responding, well, it has been quite some time since you and I have last sparred, but I couldn't really go on to tell you on when exactly that was, since I wouldn't be able to remember, and so now why exactly do you ask, Lord Beerus? With Beerus responding, interesting, very interesting, and besides your fusion with Goku, which was the only other saving grace in our mission to stop that bastard Murno, now I'm curious to know, and so now tell me, how exactly did you feel when you battled against that angel, Saiyan? Was the battle itself something that had troubled you ever since? With Vegeta having to then reminisce by then responding, well, to be quite blunt with you, it felt as though I was up against an unbreakable wall of power is what it felt like, as no matter what it was that I tried to do, I just couldn't find a way to break him, even if the others had come to my aid. And so because of this, I never want to go and feel that helpless as I did ever again, because it was bad enough in having him best us all the way that he did and having to do it alone, but what made matters worse was that without my fusion with Kakarot, it felt as though no matter how hard we tried, we always were destined to fail against him, with Beerus then being shown having to circle around Vegeta by then responding, interesting, and you say that it's been far too long since you remember the last time that you and I had trained, isn't that right? Well, because now that Gohan and that ridiculous Goku are out of the way, Beerus continues, what do you say that you and I go and take this opportunity to change that in not only having to battle one another and also progressing through our strength, but to maybe also find out on just which one of us is the superior warrior between you and I, shall we? And as it would be far better for us to go and learn more about where we stand just in case we need to when facing off against those demons, but on top of the fact, for not only do I believe that this will be the perfect warm-up in order for us to get ourselves ready for whatever it is that's coming, but at least this can also be a great way in having us both grow stronger along the way by also finding out on just what kind of vulnerabilities we can expose within one another before, of course, we go and make our way into the demon realm. And so now what do you say, Vegeta? Because not only can we go and take this moment to go engage our true power, Beerus continues, but how is about we go and hurry and take this chance to battle and see what we can learn? To which it was only following Raiden's actions and being shown having to liberate Haas from the clutches of our heroes in Universe 7 was when the terrified Haas went on to then plead by responding, Lord Raiden, please show mercy upon me, Master, for I didn't think that I would have been spotted by either of them while I was making my rounds and keeping an eye on what was happening. And so now please have mercy on me, as I wasn't intending on revealing anything to those creatures that would compromise our mission here either. And so please, Master, I beg of you not to take my life, oh great one, for I am at your mercy, and do you think that I sent you on a mission, Raiden chimes in, just so that I would have to later go and clean up after your failures, demon? No, for you'd think otherwise, as you are pathetic, for you are but a mere tool and a broken one at that, as your inability to flee from a single god's wrath is but a testament to how unworthy you are of my mercy. And so now tell me, demon, what use is a servant who cannot even protect themselves, let alone fulfill their mission? With Haas responding, well, I just, please, Master, I beg of you to just please give me another chance, because I know that I have the power to go. Oh, is that what you think? Raiden went on to then ask, so you think that you truly have what it takes to redeem yourself after such
Alright, number
pathetic
7.
actions seen on that
Completed
God of
mastery.
Destruction's planet now, do you? Interesting. And how can I be so sure that giving you a second chance would even prove to be successful, demon? As I would only go and think otherwise, to which as Raijin was then shown using a binding energy grip and having to choke Haas within the air was when Haas went on to then quickly respond, Master, please, I can show you if you just please give me a second chance to redeem myself. Oh, is that so? Raijin questions. Well, perhaps I should rather reconsider your fate then, given how you've been quite useful in assessing Universe 7 and relaying valuable information to myself and the Dark Masters about what they've been planning. However, maybe on the other hand, I should go and put an end to your life now and end your miserable existence, since I'm not too keen on handing out second chances after making a mockery of my title. Or maybe instead of allowing for you to be given your freedom, Raijin continues, perhaps you ought to have your mind be enslaved so that you may go and do my bidding without having anything go wrong for you a second time, demon. But maybe perhaps this calls for a change to take its place so that we may go and see to it that mistakes such as the ones in which you were shown having to make are never to be shown having to be made ever again, demon. And so now let us see on just what the outcome of what is about to happen here unfold then, shall we, demon? Raijin says upon nearly being shown having to tap on Haas's forehead. And as I can't help but now wonder on, will your fate be given a second chance for you to evolve, or has your fate already been sealed while you await your inevitable destruction? Exciting, isn't it? And so now let us go and find out, so do yourself a favor if you wish not to go and lose your head, and just simply hold still while we wait and see on what my magic is going to do with you once I come in contact against your flesh, demon, with Haas responding, Master, please don't do that. But it was already too late, because with Raijin being shown having to tap on Haas's forehead as Haas was now beginning to transform was when Raijin then went on to continue, the more you go and speak, the worse that this will grow to become, and so now hold your tongue. For it would only now appear as though you were lucky enough to have escaped death, and now that I can see on which one of my options have been selected in having your fate be decided, Raijin continues, let this now go and serve as being a reminder of my will, along with having this be a moment where you will remember what will happen to you if you ever dare to make a fool out of my name and title ever again. To which this was now it, because with the demon Haas now having to be shown undergoing a monstrous transformation and visually now looking very different by comparison to how he was before, was when Raijin then went on to continue, because now that you are far more powerful and while under my control in allowing for this to be what will guide you in moving forward, demon, let us now go and see if you are truly ready to avenge your name after all that's happened, for you will not be given another chance if you go and fail me again, demon. And so now listen to me and listen up very carefully, as I will not go and repeat myself in the meantime, Raijin continues, but do not mistake this as a gift, demon, for it is a tool that you will go and use to carry out my will, as your mission is now clear, as you will go and take with you several of our most vicious demons, return to Universe 7 and annihilate those wretched rodents who dare to defy my will. For this will be your mission, but hear me now, as you should go and consider this to be your second chance, though it will also be your last if you fail me again, and so leave no stone unturned and no mortal left standing in our way, but fail me again and I will destroy
finally
you
got a
without
match.
hesitation, because should you go and return to me in disgrace once more, then I shall devour your hearts for all to see while I rip your flesh apart slowly, with the demon Haas responding, yes, for I understand, my master, and I will not go and let you down again as I once have, as I will go and crush everyone in my path in the 7th if it means honoring your title. Good, Raijin says, now remember your task and destroy those mortals and leave nothing behind in your wake, and while the rest of the multiverse shall be scouted and dealt with in pieces, I hereby call forth for you to be summoned Kaima and Garlock, as I will now appoint you both to your positions, as here is what I require of you, Raijin continues. As I will go and start with you, Kaima. You will go and take several of your allies into Universe 7, where I want you to go and discover the home world in which Universe 7's strongest happens to come from, and once you do, I want you to then go and destroy everything that those mortal creatures hold dear to their hearts, including their friends, family, and lastly, their entire planet. Leave no stone unturned, with the Elite Demon Kaima responding, understood, and it shall be done, my master, with Raijin continuing, good. And as for you, Garlock, you will go and search Universe 7 for any mortal warrior with a dark enough soul that can be converted into an ally in order to further our cause. For I
Yeah,
leave
level
this up to you to
103.
go and find the strongest and most evil warriors to recruit for our main cause, because in order for this to go and work,
Can you hear me? Flying Nimbus! Trunks! I've set a super time machine, as well as a crate of supplies. Here's how to launch. Find the power keys, then place them in the right spots. You found a power key. Go slot it. Great. You know what to do with that key.
Damn, son.
That's a new power key. Place it now.
Well, not much I could do.
Flying Nimbus!
I hate when they don't put the civilian on the first floor, because no one's really trying to go all the way to the top of this stupid ass building. Just need to find this B and C key next.
Oh no!
Stay calm.
Thank you.
Where did this guy come from? Why are you stealing my drinks?
You okay? I owe you one.
Well, that's game.
I intend on using these mortals as mere puppets for my cause, and so you will go and bring them here upon having to find them when you do. Am I understood? As I do not intend to fail as I once did, and if everything goes accordingly to my plans, Raijin continues, then I shall have what I am looking for and complete my destiny by ushering in and bringing forth a new era into existence, as I will not go and fail a second time, especially not after I am given given what is owed to me once the Dark Masters use the Super Dragon Balls, Raijin says. And while I gather together the others and send them off to go and complete their own missions, I expect for the both of you not to disappoint me, because if you are to fail and if you are to not go through with what it is that I asked of you, then just like that pathetic demon Haas before you, I will do unto both of you just as I will go on to do to him. Am I understood? And as I do not intend to go and repeat myself to you again, as the elite demon Garlock then went on to respond, yes, as you wish, my master, Garlock then responds, but if I may be so gracious enough as to ask you, but how exactly was it that he was able to learn about our mission, and what was it that you had went and set your sights on that had originally warranted for the Grand Minister's arrival, Garlock continues, for do you think that perhaps he will go and try to do the same thing again after he learns about your return? As Raijin then went on to respond, if what the Dark Masters say about the Grand Minister is to be true, then for the time being that repulsive angel will no longer be an equation within my plans, but he wasn't the one who had originally sealed me away during the Great War that was held here within this realm, but it was rather his firstborn and strongest angel offspring at that time, who went by the name of Murno. And with the Grand Minister taking notice and somehow learning about my mission and finding and assembling together all 3 configuration cubes, Raijin continues, he immediately had decided to go and take swift action here against me, in having to deem my disturbance as being too great and my power too dangerous for his precious balance to be kept. But before having to step forward to challenge me directly, which he decided not to go and do, he instead had went and given this task on over to Murno, and not only placing his firstborn angel through the ultimate test here against me, but by also seeing on whether or not Murno had what it took to actually go and get the job done by succeeding, Raijin continues. And while this battle within the demon realm had also involved some of the multiverse's strongest mortal warriors and deities from that given era, Raijin says, the most troublesome and dangerous among them all was undoubtedly that angel Murno. For the Grand Priest had seen my knowledge of these configuration cubes as a threat to his very dominion, and as the cubes themselves aren't what truly holds the power that I seek, but rather it is what lies deep inside of them once combined that further garners my curiosity. And if the rumors of the gateway that they can go and create are to be true, then the Grand Minister had every right to fear my potential, Raijin continues. And while I was within the prime of my power, it was only after Murno had descended upon the demon realm was when I had sent my legions after him, Raijin continues upon being shown having to see a flashback. And as wave after wave of my demons honed for destruction, each more fearsome than the last, had gone after him, only to have failed in the end, for none of them stood a chance, as they all fell before him one by one. And while the horde grew stronger and the number of demons that I had sent kept fighting,
should be good. Yo, it's level 3. Trash. Missing with that shit. Oh man. How do you get killed within 10 seconds, bro? That would have been great if he didn't transform to his level 2.
Great! You know what to do with that key.
That stupid player got hit with blah. Gave away our location.
An ally needs your help. We don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in.
Alright, I'm gonna head to C and D, try to find that key real quick.
This is bad. Somebody's down. Exercise extreme caution if you're going to help them. Hey, great! You found another power key. Use it quick.
Stay here for a second. Alright, if that's the case then I just have to go set that key. Doesn't look like anyone's doing it.
An ally needs your help.
And we lost a player and we're down 2 players, so it's not looking good, guys.
Before rushing in. This is bad. Somebody's down. Exercise
That's
extreme
GG's.
caution if you're going to help them. Flying Nimbus! An ally needs your help. We don't know what danger awaits. Think before rushing in.
Dirty fireworks.
Anyone, please! Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the smartest thing to do is not to set the key and hope that he kills one of these guys so the match just ends. We can move on.
You made one hell of a miscalculation.
Nada.
The startup system for the super time machine is ready.
Well, someone set the key. Alright, you got me, man. There's literally nothing we could do at this point, so just get out the game.
I'll send some supplies to help. Make good use of them. The startup system's under attack.
Gonna grab some supplies. Unless he's coming back to camp my body. We have 6 Dragon Balls. Give me one more. I don't know why this guy's not destroying the time machine. The match is over.
Stay calm. Stay calm.
And she just wants to play around. Oh shit, I thought I had my dragon change.
You're done. Stay calm.
Best game. It's not looking good this morning, guys. I'm getting mashed up.
I only then, upon having to see this angel in action here against them, had realized Murno's true potential, Raijin continues. And no matter what I threw towards his direction, he continued to grow stronger, sharper, and more refined with each passing battle. And although I knew that he did not possess the knowledge of the configuration cubes as his father did, Raijin continues, I only then knew that at that moment, Murno had to be destroyed before he was able to go and find out more about them, Raijin says. And as I knew right then and there on exactly why Murno was sent into the demon realm to battle against our kind, for I knew that if someone like Murno, an angel with such power and freedom, could learn of the cube's purpose and power for himself, then he would surely become more of a danger than anyone could have possibly have anticipated, Raijin continues. But even while I stood at the edge of obtaining and assembling all 3 cubes and having them bring me into the ether realm, I knew that something had to have been done in order to put an end to that rotten angel for good, because no matter what it is that my army had tried against him, I knew that something had to have been done, and that was when I had ordered for all 4 of the demon realm's dark masters to go on the attack in order to see if the angel could be brought down. But all the while as this was shown happening, as I kept a watchful eye on Murno, I knew that even the dark masters weren't going to be strong enough to collectively go against him, which only made me that much more envious towards the power that this angel was displaying, Raijin continues, as I knew that if I was able to somehow go and acquire such a power as the one in which he was going and using against us, then it would simply go without question that there wouldn't have been anyone who could have stood in the way of getting what I wanted after assembling those configuration cubes. But try as the Dark Masters did against Murno, I went on to continue to watch on how one by one they all started to fall, even while attempting to attack him as a collective. But even as they did, Raijin continues, he continued evolving and seemingly grew stronger and stronger with each clash against them, almost as if the act of battle itself was forging him into something far more than what he was displaying out there against them. And while having to watch this conflict unfold, I grew to despise these angels more and more as the fight dragged on, as even though the Dark Masters were my finest instruments of destruction and the first of many beings that I had created since the beginning of my reign, Raijin continues, upon having to see Murno battle against the Dark Masters, when I had went and sent them against that angel, it became clear that they had encountered a force that went far beyond their comprehension, as one by one, with each of them throwing themselves at Murno with the full extent of their might and power, and one by one as they did, the angelic warrior known as Murno had went as far as to dismantle them all with complete ease, almost as though each victory against my Dark Masters had served to strengthen his resolve and sharpen his focus with each passing moment, Raijin continues. And throughout that entire time, as I went on to watch this angel in combat against my Dark Masters, I knew that he had to be studied in order for me to learn more about his skills. And while I knew that we just had to go and destroy these angelic creatures in order for my cubes to be collected and assembled so that I may step through its gateway to obtain infinite power and knowledge, I also then knew that so as long as this Murno was in our way, then our options were extremely limited, Raijin continues. But even despite this, no matter how hard they tried and no matter how many of them had attempted to try and stop this angel in his tracks, it was only clear that this angel was very well trained, as the Grand Priest had went and taught this angel everything that he needed to know in order to survive a situation such as the one that he was placed in within our demon realm. And even as I went on to watch this angel continue to go and push my Dark Masters back more and more during their battle, Raijin continues, even the strongest Dark Master and second mightiest demon within the demon realm, Toro, had fell victim to Murno's power. To which it was only then within that very moment, as the former angel Murno was then shown having to grab and hold on to Toro's fist upon the middle of their battle, was when Toro then went on to quickly respond, "Why, you rotten angel, how are you this powerful that none of us Dark Masters, even while attempting to go and engage against you together, are unable to get through and damaging you in the slightest? For you cannot possibly to hope to go and keep this up for long, because there must be some kind of a weakness that you have. And once we are able to find it, we are going to go and tear your flesh apart, and deep down, you know that to be the case," Toro continues. "And so you can go and continue to challenge and fight us as much as you would want to, but there will be no chance that we will go and allow for you to walk out of the demon realm in one piece, Angel, because one way or another, we will find a way to
over
break
100
you."
raiders today.
As Angel Myrtle then went
Over
on to
level
respond,
100
and while you
all
may
day.
go and
You haven't
try
got
as
no
you'd like,
BB.
understand that this is going to be as far as I will allow for you to all go here against me, no matter how many of you go and try to attack me all at once. And while neither one of you so-called Dark Masters are strong enough to rival me, you might as well
Try to see what's up. This guy's over level 117.
Can you hear me? It's Trunks. I've set a super time machine, as well as a crate of supplies. Here's how to launch. Find the power keys, then place them in the right spots.
I have a level 1 now.
Holy hell.
Dog, I don't know what's going on this morning. I really don't understand.
Where is everyone? Someone help me!
You found a power key. Go slot it.
Went the other way, bro. Both these guys went the wrong way.
Go and call this battle off here against me now before I start ripping your souls right out of your bodies. To which it was only seconds after, with the Dark Masters then shown having to quickly attempt to gang up on Murno once more as Raijin went on to look down from beneath them, was when Raijin then went on to continue, for Murno's power was unlike anything that I have ever encountered before, and as the Dark Masters continued to try and press him during their battle, Murno's power had seemed to continue to grow and evolve in response to their efforts, especially since he was given the task by his father in order for him to go and see if he had what it took to go and get the job done. And as he tore through my Dark Masters, Raijin continues, it was only then where I knew that I could no longer hold back if I wished to truly go and stop him in his tracks. And while I gazed upon that power that he was displaying, I knew right then and there that I needed to go and have that for myself, Raijin says, for I would have needed to go and unleash everything that I had if I wanted to go and destroy that angel for good. But it was also strangely enough where I began to sense something deeper that had been lying dormant within him during that time, Raijin continues, and it was something in which I wasn't able to fully get a good read on until much later on. But even then, while I knew that there was something more to this angel, the time had went and called for me to go and face this creature for myself, because while I wanted to go and learn of the source of where these angels would go and get their power from, in order for my plans to finally be completed and for my mission to be realized, I knew that I had no other choice than to go and face this angelic warrior for myself. And if there was anyone who was worthy and strong enough to do battle and go head to head and stand against the Grand Minister's mightiest angel warrior, then I knew that this had only then left me with no other choice than to go and fight that angel personally. All that had been riding on my ability to go and see my destiny through in obtaining and combining all three configuration cubes had now ultimately led to this. For the sheer sight of Murno having to stand amidst the ruins of my Dark Masters in battle was both very infuriating and yet extremely enlightening, for it had ultimately become painfully clear to me upon seeing Murno overpower my Dark Masters that no ordinary measures would have been enough to go and stop such a being, as it was even before I had found myself in having to engage against him, I knew that although that he was the strongest angel which we had ever engaged against at the time, the angelic warrior known as Murno, whom we stood against and having to battle within the demon realm, still wasn't perfect, or at least from what I was able to gather together, he wasn't quite as flawless as he was shown when compared to before he was destroyed, and that was where I knew that I could ultimately break through his defenses and tag him. And it was only upon having to finally confront that wretched angel for myself was when I then began to understand the nature of what this angel was like in battle, because even while I stood as the mightiest among our kind and the strongest within the demon realm, Raijin continues, my strength along with my magic simply wasn't going to be enough. But even while I knew that taking this angel down wasn't going to be as easy as it was when compared to when I had annihilated his rookie siblings before him, I still decided to go and engage against Murno anyways, just so that I could see as to what I could ultimately exploit upon having to battle this mighty angel for myself. And while I was given the edge within those moments by feeding off of the dark energy that encompasses our demon realm, Raijin continues upon being shown uppercutting Murno in the face, I further went on to use these moments to my advantage to channel my strength along with my magic to its highest in order to finally catch that angel by surprise. And as even while I did, and as hard as I was shown having to smash my way into this angel, Raijin continues, there was something about this creature that I just couldn't go and put my finger on within those early moments. But it was only while that rotten father of his was shown having to watch from above was where I then began to see on why this Murno was different, Raijin continues, and more importantly I then began to see on why the Grand Minister had decided to not go and tell him about the configuration cubes along with what my true intention was. And little by little throughout that that fight, I started to see on why. As even while I knew that upon having to battle against Murno, that if he had fallen in battle here against me, then surely the Grand Minister would ultimately be bound to intervene, which ultimately as an end result had placed me at a significant disadvantage against them, since I was the only one left who could oppose them. To which, as young Raijin was then shown having to address the Grand Priest, was when young Raijin then went on to respond, "You spineless creature, did you really think that by sending this angel here to stop me will actually be what works within your favor? For your very arrogance is boundless, but your cowardice is even greater, you swine, for all you've managed to do here was ensure this angel's destruction, and so delaying the inevitable will only get you so far, but once your strongest angel falls," Raijin continues, "then it will ultimately be you in the end who will face my wrath next, and you can make no mistake about the fact that I am going to make you suffer for ever daring to come and wage this war here against me, you little worm." But then, it was only from within that very moment, as the angel Murno was shown having to jump right back into the fight by punching Raijin in the face, was when Raijin's recap went on to then continue, "But as quick as I was to go and address that coward minister and forewarning him for the dangers that will come, and I was too careless to have went and taken my eyes off that angel, because although I knew that he was very responsive in combat, and I wasn't expecting for him to be as fast as he was to continue our battle, even after I had attacked him the way I did prior, but even while he had went and attacked me, I could sense a very strange but yet very familiar darkness that was beginning to come from somewhere deep within his very spirit, as it was this very feeling that I had then began to sense coming from deep within him is what intrigued me the most," Raijin continues. "But even with my power having to rival and even surpass that of many gods of destruction, I still wasn't formidable enough to truly do the damage that I had intended on creating onto Murno. My magic and the energy that my magic had been feeding off of, however, within the demon realm was what kept me going out there against Murno, for it even went on to sidetrack the angel the longer we continued to engage, which was exactly what it was that I had needed. And while the angel continued to display feats of strength that went far beyond my own," Raijin continues, "and I still made sure to go and keep a very watchful eye on him, which was all that I needed in order to study the way he fought, and while he continued to fight with an iron fist and doing what his father had ordered for him to do, and I still went on to make sure that even while he may have held the advantage for a brief moment out here against me, that I too had been watching and growing stronger myself as a result of our battle, which had even gone as far as to take the angel back by surprise, because as I went on to watch those who came before me fall to Murno, I, on the other hand, had refused to go and suffer the same fate as they did. And as even while I had went and refused to give in and allow for this angel to seize this opportunity here against me, the shadow that I had sensed that was hidden beneath his divine brilliance was slowly beginning to stir, and as we continued to clash, I continued to feel it growing stronger with every blow that was exchanged, and as although I wasn't able to understand it at first, I knew that it was there buried deep within his very soul, which was ultimately just waiting to go and make its presence known here against me. And for a moment while I questioned on whether my senses were deceiving me, and I only then began to ask on could it really be that the so-called perfect angel had carried within him a darkness that was similar to our own within the demon realm? For had it been possible that what it was that I was sensing had been something far more sinister than what the angel was allowed to reveal? For could it really be that the firstborn son of the Grand Minister was harboring a prideful and dark nature that was reflective to that of my own? And while at first I couldn't go and believe for this feeling to be true, as our battle continued and the more we fought, the more apparent my suspicions about him had became. And while I continued to fight this angel with every ounce of anger and hatred within my heart for his kind that I had, and it was only then upon that very moment during the middle of our battle was where I began to see it for myself. And as it was only within this very brief moment here against Murno was where I then began to see his form begin to slowly change, as well as having to see his aura flickering with some kind of an otherworldly darkness that was reflective to our own. As it was only upon having to then see this with my very own eyes was where I knew that my suspicions about this angel had been correct with what I was beginning to sense coming from him all along. And as once I had this moment to go and see this for myself, Raijin continues, was when it all finally dawned upon me on why the Grand Minister had kept the knowledge behind what I was truly after by using the configuration cubes away from Murno, and his very reasons for having to do this was because deep down within Murno's heart, similar to that of us demons here, Raijin says, Murno's very soul had been tainted with rage, and along with this rage came a prideful resentment towards the very hierarchy which he fought to protect. And as I knew right then and there that this angel was by no means pure, and while I saw this opportunity as a way to try and sway Murno's mind into joining our ranks, Raijin continues, there was still but a very small part of him that had remained loyal to the throne, and so why destroy what can be used to conquer? As it was only even after I had realized this revelation for myself, I knew that I just had to go and try. But even while I did, the angel would not give in, Raijin continues, no matter how badly I tried to deter him from his orders, which had ultimately then resulted in the battle having to carry on. For not only was this a moment of weakness for the angel in attempting to do anything and everything he could to try to mask himself from his father, and I just knew within my guts that this too wouldn't last, as I had then realized right then and there that these so-called neutrally divine beings weren't so incorruptible after all. And while I never would have expected to have the angel later turn against his own kind in attempting to set off a revolution that would nearly go on to destroy the entire multiverse, what I did however know was that whatever this power was that Murno had been harboring was undoubtedly a power that I just had to go and wield for myself. And even though I had tried to whisper delusions of authority within the moment of our battle to Murno, his undying loyalty to that pathetic Omni King and father of his wasn't something that was going to be easy for me to go and try to break away, and thus our battle continued, Raijin says. And as even while I continued to attack, I also watched very carefully as his frustrations were beginning to take over, and while his father may have not realized it within that moment, I, on the other hand, did. And more than anything, while I hated the idea of ever having to side myself alongside another angel, Raijin continues, I knew that if I were to somehow find a way to go and turn that angel against the Grand Minister, then the chances of my victory would have been guaranteed. But since Murno was too naive at the time to have realized on what it was that I had been offering him during the course of our battle, my attempts to go and get him to turn himself over in joining us had proven to be unsuccessful, Raijin continues. And after seeing that there was no other way in having to have me warp his mind into joining us to destroy the Grand Minister, I only then had made my decision that if I was going to go down against this angel during this battle, Raijin continues, then I wasn't going to go down without having to take a very large part of both of them with me during the process. But before I was ready to go and unleash the full extent of my demonic magic, it was only just then during that time where I had just so happened to have overheard that wretched Grand Minister go and give Murno some kind of order here against me, Raijin continues. While Murno went on to go and make his move upon being given the order by the Grand Minister, it started to become very obvious on what he was planning on doing here against me, because with Murno given the order to go and have me sealed away, that cowardice angel Murno had wasted no time in having to do exactly that. And while I had sensed the trap beginning to formulate around me, and I wasn't able to respond fast enough to avoid the dangers that I was hereby placed in, and it was only here where I had learned that not only do these mighty angel warriors wield incredible battle power if given permission to go and use it during combat, but it was only here where I had then realized that there was nothing that I could hope to try and do that would liberate me from the chains that Murno had placed around me. And even while I struggled, both my rage and my hatred for these angelic creatures knew no bounds, for all I wanted to do from that moment onwards was to go as far as to free myself of these chains that were placed upon my body and tear their heads clean off their bodies, Raijin says. But no matter how hard I tried to go and break free from what was about to go and happen to me, there was nothing that I could have done within that moment in time that would have made the difference that I was hoping to make, Raijin says. Because while I struggled to break free from the chains that had bound me, Murno's power was simply too strong for my magic to have any kind of effect on, which had ultimately left me with nothing by the very end. But Murno's bind on me didn't just stop there, for the Grand Priest had feared me so much so that even while in my weakened states, they were afraid that I would go and find a way to escape this metal prison, and as such, the chamber that they had went and imprisoned me in was no ordinary prison, but it was rather a construct of angelic design that was embedded with angelic power that even I couldn't break loose from, as it was Myrno himself who had forged the very seal that had kept me bound, for it was but a web of light and power that had cut me off from the demon realm and away from everything that I had worked generations to construct, and yet even while trapped inside, I could still sense their fear of me having to radiate from the outside. And with Myrno having followed the Grand Priest's every order without question, Raijin continues, he only further then went on to not only seal me away within a prison that was designed to break even the strongest wills within it, but little did they know that my will cannot be so easily broken. And to only further ensure my defeat within this metal chamber, Myrno was given the orders to use his magic and putting me into a deep slumber. It was only then where I knew that there was no escape, and while fear is a poor foundation for victory, Raijin continues, they may have thought that they had won, but all they did was delay my inevitable return, Raijin says. For the Grand Minister could have ordered to go and end my life when he had the chance, but if he had gone as far as to go and make such a move, then the very balance between both the living worlds and the demon realm would have been thrown off sync, which would have ultimately have resulted in catastrophic consequences without my presence in keeping the demon realm stable and away from imploding. And to only further avoid in having to go and upset the balance of the entire multiverse by destroying me prior to having a demon god take my place, Myrno had finally at long last laid his claim and victory over me by locking me away and sealing off the demon realm completely and making sure that we would never rise to overthrow the powers that be, never to be shown having to be freed from that wretched prison ever again. But after seeing what I had saw that came from Myrno, Raijin continues, I knew that one day his true nature would have been revealed, as there would have been no way that the Grand Minister would ever stand to allow for such a force like Myrno and his corruption to ever exist, as it was only since that time for thousands of millennia I was forced to simmer within that wretched chamber as my rage continued to fester and my hatred growing deeper and deeper as time went on. But even now, while going and reflecting upon my imprisonment fills me with a rage that words cannot capture, Raijin says. To be caged the way I did and to be silenced the way I was is a disgrace that I will vow to erase with both fire and fury, in making sure that such a failure as the one that was shown is never to be repeated and have happened to me ever again, and especially so as long as I am freed. And even though I am no longer within the prime of my power, Raijin went on to then look down on his hand by then responding, I only vow that this too will not last forever, for I will forge into my very being and establish a power so great that there will be no angel that will ever be able to overthrow me as they once did, and I will go on to do this by going to any and all measures that I would need to in order to have this become a reality, as I cannot run the risk of having anything go and stop me here for a second time, as it may end up being my last if I am not careful with my approach, Raijin continues. And while my magic along with my power remains stable, I ultimately intend on plunging the multiverse into total darkness, which will require a power far beyond my current standing if I hope to turn this vision into a reality as well. And while I wait for the Dark Masters to go and do what needs to be done to secure my reign in becoming the one true God King of the multiverse, Raijin continues, this will be where you, both my elite demons and those who rank beneath you, will go and serve their purpose. And unlike Myrno, Raijin continues, why simply go and rush when I intend on making this slow and painful for all of them to experience? As the elite demon Garlock went on to then respond, but my lord, what if the other angels try and go and stop you from reaching your goals a second time, my master? How will we go about by making sure that they are not to stand in your way again? With Raijin responding, well, it's simple, because once I have what the Dark Masters have been ordered to go and do for me, even the angels themselves will no longer pose as being any kind of threat to me with the power that I will be wielding, which is also exactly why my plans are to not be jeopardized no matter the cost. With the elite demon Kaima having to then chime in, then this too shall be, Master Raijin, for we will go and stake our lives in making sure that the demon realm reigns supreme over the living worlds, no matter what it takes, even while at the expense of anyone and everyone who dares to go and stand within our way of absolute domination, as I promise to go and bring their worlds to its knees as a tribute to your honor, Master Raijin, with Garlock responding, yes, as I also second this notion, Lord Raijin, for I will go on to make sure that our armies continue to grow stronger and more powerful along the way, all at the same time while also bringing to you new warriors who are just as dark and just as ruthless as we are to aid us, with Raijin responding, good, for I expect nothing less while trusting that you will go and do what is directed of you both to go and do, as I will be watching you all very closely in the meantime. And so
maybe everyone's still hungover, bro. Queues are bad this morning or this afternoon.
You will do everything within your power to ensure that this is done. Do you both understand? And as the same goes for all the rest, and so you will stake your lives to see that everything goes according to my very command, for Universe 7 isn't going to be the only universe that will suffer, Raijin continues, and as they will simply go on to serve by being but the beginning of a cascade of horrors that will bring the rest of the multiverse down to its knees, and then one by one, as they each start to crumble, their champions will be destroyed and their gods will be silenced. This is the destiny that I have set into motion, and you are all going to serve as being my ultimate instruments within my grand realization, Raijin says. And so now go and leave no remnants of hope behind in your wake as Universe 7 falls, Raijin continues, for it is but the first of many steps forward that will bring me ever so closer towards my ultimate goal of absolute dominion. And so now go and destroy their champions, desecrate their sacred grounds, and sow despair among their hearts while you go and search for new recruits to go and join our ranks in the meantime. And if the resistance proves to be far greater than expected, Raijin continues, then call upon the Dark Masters as they will go on to ensure victory where you cannot. But if you fail to do so as I command, then understand that you will never know peace no matter how far you travel, and no matter where it is that you go and try to hide from me, demons. For I will not tolerate anything less than succession during your missions, and so this will be your first and only warning from me, Raijin says. Do not falter, do not waver, and do not give in to turning yourselves over into giving any of them what they want, and that is because if you do, then you will be destroyed. And so now go and do what must be done while I wait, demons. To which it was only then just upon with Raijin being shown having to give out the order, with both Kaima and Garlock being shown having to be sent off on their missions, was when Raijin then went on to continue, yes, good, and now that the pieces are all starting to slowly come together within my favor, very soon under my command, there will be no gods, no angels, and no mortal warriors who will ever dare to oppose me ever again. And as my utopia will be forged from the ashes of their resistance, and once I go on to merge the demon realm with the very fabric of the multiverse itself, only then will the barriers that separate us no longer be what binds my law, Raijin continues. And what's even more is once I am able to go and see inside those configuration cubes after assembling all three into one, then not only will I only then go on to see on what lies beyond on the other side, but no longer will the Grand Priest or his wretched angels ever hold sway over existence as they have while under the rulership of those cursed Omni Kings ever again. And what's even more is once the Dark Masters have followed through in granting me my wish in merging Murno's angelic power with my very own and amplifying my strength far beyond my previous limitations, only then, when that moment comes, will be the very second where I go on to transcend far beyond anyone's ability to go and do anything to stop me. But even now, I must be careful with how I take my approach moving forward, because one wrong misstep and it could end up costing me everything that I've been striving for, especially by gathering and merging all 3 configuration cubes before it's too late, because whatever secrets lie beyond these realms, Raijin continues, are pieces of information that only I must obtain, for I must learn more about the secrets behind those Omni Kings, along with their origins and how they can be destroyed without ever having to stand in my way ever again. Which is also why I want to know on if those old rumors that have echoed throughout the shadows of this supposed Omni paradox is to be true or not, because if anything were to go and happen, then all must be done to ensure my reign, even at the cost of risking one's own life in order to see that my mission is at long last complete, as even while there are still those who may still go on to pose a significant threat to me as I am at the moment, once the Dark Masters are to finally go and have my wish be granted is when the tables will finally turn, Raijin continues. And so while I will go and wait until they have given me the word that my wish has finally been granted, only then will I resume my mission and see it until the very end, until it is all finally completed. For the Angel Myrna was a fool to not go on and ensure the destruction of those who would be willing to go on and still stand in the way of my plans, but they too will all soon be dealt with, as I must not go on to underestimate anyone until this is done, and that is exactly what I intend on doing. But nevertheless, for what it was that I had seen within you before, Raijin continues upon being shown having to reflect back on Myrno and smiling, will ultimately become mine for the taking, fallen angel, for you should have sided with us here when you saw that you and I were not so much different from one another after all. But no matter, because while I knew that you would ultimately fail due to your sheer arrogance having to blind you from the truth of the bigger picture that you weren't able to see, I, on the other hand, will not go and make the same mistakes as you once did. And once I lay claim and use that very power which you yourself had nearly used to destroy the entire multiverse with, I will only then go on to have what I've been longing for, as all life throughout each corner of every universe will bend their knee to my will. To which it was only just moments prior, with Beerus being shown having to further question Vegeta just before having to engage during their training session, was when Beerus then went on to quickly respond, "Now before we begin, I just want you to go and keep something in mind and know that I am not looking to play any sort of games with you here while we go and do this, Saiyan, because with what it is that I am expecting to go and get out of you, I'm hoping that you'll go and give me your absolute best during this contest. Otherwise, I will go and destroy you and leave nothing in your wake behind. Do you understand?" With Vegeta responding, "But my aim isn't to go and try to hurt you during this battle, Lord Beerus, and so by giving you my all isn't something that I think that we should go and explore during this contest, but rather just instead go and take it a little easy in the meantime so we could save our strength for when we battle against those demons, and more importantly, Lord Raijin. Wouldn't you agree?" With Beerus responding, "Then just who exactly went and said that you'd go and hurt me to begin with, Saiyan? Because I certainly never said that this was going to be any sort of issue, because my main focus is to see on what it is that you are made of, and then to also find out on how good you really are once I've locked you right where I need you, and that's when I'll know if you'll be strong enough to break free or not, Saiyan. And so now I won't go and tell you twice. I want you to go and use everything that you have here against me, and as well as also showing me on whatever tricks you might be hiding in your back pocket, Vegeta, and as you are in this to ensure that those demons are stopped before they could go and do what Myrno had nearly went as far as to nearly do to all of us now, aren't you? Because if that's the case, then this is going to be your one and only chance to go and prove that, Vegeta. And then before you do, Beerus went on to then quickly interrupt, allow for me to also go and remind you of one very important thing, Vegeta, and that is while I know how badly you do not wish to repeat the events of what was shown taking place with Myrno ever again, and I just hope you know that unless you go and give it your all here against me during this upcoming contest, then not only are you going to be going as far as to repeat the same mistakes that you once made by allowing for that rotten angel to do what he nearly did against you in battle, but more importantly, is if you go and decide to give me anything less than your absolute best, then you can go and kiss your life goodbye, because not only am I going to view you as I would be fighting against Raijin, but I will also ensure you that I am going to be fighting you with the intention to destroy you, which is is exactly why you better be at your absolute best here against me, Vegeta, because anything less, then you might as well just go and pack your bags and head down into the demon realm as well, because in this world, in this universe, in my universe, there will be no such thing as weaklings who will walk among myself and Whis that will not go unchecked. And unless your efforts and your nightmares of overcoming that battle with Murno are to repeat themselves, then you better go and come at me with everything that you have, otherwise you are going to be remembered as nothing more than a disgrace. To which this was now seemingly shown having to do it, because with Vegeta being shown having to power up into his primal Super Saiyan Blue evolution form was when Vegeta went on to quickly respond, well then if that's the game that you wish to go and play here with me, then so be it, but understand that I will not stand and allow for you to go and treat what happened with Murno before as some kind of a joke here. And so if this was what you wanted to go and see from me, then you've got it. And while I originally had intended to go and learn more about those demons by looking further into that book that I was reading, since you are the one that wanted to go and make this personal with me, Lord Beerus, especially after having to be on the receiving end of Murno's wrath yourself, then why don't I just go and remind you on exactly why you shouldn't be taking this as a joke with me here to begin with, Lord Beerus. Which it was only just within that very moment as Beerus was attempting to attack Vegeta, with Vegeta shown having to dodge each and every single one of Beerus' strikes, was when Vegeta then went on to quickly continue. And while you may not go and take these matters as serious as I do, especially after having to experience everything that we had to go and experience when facing that wretched angel Murno, I will not allow for myself to be taken for a fool as I once did by any of those demons, no matter the cost, Lord Beerus. And that is where you are wrong in your judgment to assume that I could care less when in fact I do, Beerus responds upon being shown uppercutting Vegeta in the face. However, Saiyan, just because I don't obsess over the idea of having to constantly relive the trauma that Murno had put you through, doesn't go as far as to insinuate or mean that my concerns aren't anything less than your own, Saiyan, and that is the difference between my approach and yours, with Vegeta responding, oh, to obsess over and relive the trauma, huh? Is that what you think that I go through since our battle here with Murno? You think that this is some kind of a joke? Because this is by no means a joke to me, Lord Beerus, but yes, maybe I am obsessed with what was shown having to take place here with that angel when we came face to face with him, and do you want to know on why that is? Well, it's simple, because that was the first and only other time where none of us, no matter how powerful we were at the time, could have ever have went and stood a chance to go and do anything to stop him. And so to avoid having anything like that ever become a reality to any of us here ever again, as you yourself out of everyone should know firsthand on exactly how that feeling of helplessness feels, which is exactly why I am taking this far more seriously than you are at the moment. And so even if you say that I am obsessed by the thought of never having history go and repeat itself ever again, at least I am the only one aside from both Kakarot and Whis who appear to care enough in wanting to go and do something about it, and only going as far as stopping that newly awakened demon god Raijin before it's too late, Vegeta responds upon being shown grabbing and throwing Beerus across the landscape. And so you will either go and take these matters seriously here against me, as well as also take these threats as seriously as you should, or you can just go and leave me as I am so that I can go and prepare for the battle that I know is bound to arrive at our front doorstep once that wretched Raijin goes and gives them all the order to go and do so. And if you and I are going to continue to go and do this as we are, and seeing where we stand when compared to one another like this within the moments, then you better start taking me as seriously as I am taking you. Otherwise, I am just going to go and call this battle within my favor early so that I could go back and figuring out of a way on how to go and stop those demons from continuing to invade and attack us when we least expect for them to do. And so because of this, you can go and consider this as being your one and only warning in the meantime while I look forward in ending this. And as while you struggle with your thoughts and having me remind you of the pain that we had to undergo in facing that fallen angel Murno, let it go and be known here and now that this is where I plan on ending this for good. As Beerus then went on to quickly respond, oh, and just what the heck is that feeling that I just keep sensing? For every time I find myself clashing with him, something appears to be very off, and I can't tell on what it is that he is doing to cause this.
Alright, we gotta Later
It's
match,
as if
we'll
my
switch it up and
energy
play
is
as
being
Vegeta.
disrupted somehow or thrown off sync, for it is subtle, so subtle in fact that I almost can't notice, but there's no mistaking it now, that this Saiyan is doing something that is causing me to go and lose my train of focus, and although from the looks of it, on the surface he doesn't appear to be using anything, but I know that he is up to something, and I intend on finding out as to what that is, because he was never shown having to fight like this before, and whatever it is that this Saiyan is pulling on me, Beerus continues, only seems to be something that appears to be slowly working, and I'll be damned if I'm going to allow for him to continue this onslaught here against me, without having me go and put a stop on whatever it is that he is trying to go and use against me in the meantime. But while he's pushing his luck here against me,
Elite.
Yeah, queues are pretty bad today, bro. Either everyone's hungover or no one's really playing right now.
Let's see what the Namekian and his little... Soil here looks perfect. Throw in some Cybermen. Make them suffer, Cybermen.
In a bad spot. Actually, not too bad. I just need one more civilian. Am I disconnected?
Looks like you and me are thinking the same thing, Vegeta.
Civilians over here.
Here goes. You can call me Super Elite.
Disintegrate!
Again, ass whooped. Lost him. There's a civilian there though. Got 2 keys. I need to try to find a Dragon Ball radar. The game put me in a bad spot, bro. There's someone over there. I see them. Same guy.
Not too shabby. No, not like this.
Okay, this is B and C, so they have to be here somewhere to find this damn key. I think that's the guy we just killed. Oh, that extension was long. Can you move, man?
Not much, but if you want to get yourself like a combo move or something.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Here goes.
Where did these guys go? Not gonna lie, they're doing pretty good. My sister just came in, gave me 20 bucks.
Nap up, that's enough! I'll take care of them!
Alright, so we got our Vegeta. So we're probably gonna try to summon an A next. And they have all the keys. This is not good, guys. I missed. Fuck. Bro, how did I miss?
Now, it shall be done. I will grant your wish.
You can call me Silver Meat.
There's nothing I can do against level 4. We just get our ass whooped. Either I'm gonna lose by a time machine or by this level 4. Alright. Well, he's dead. Well, he's not dead, but you know what I mean.
Here goes something!
Holy Fuck, bro. They got me. They got my Vegeta though, not my Frieza. Vegeta's my weakest raider. I was trying to build him up. GG's. He went from 68 to 76.
Given how strong he's gotten since the days of when I had him pinned beneath my feet as being so much more powerful
And my
than he was
sister came and
before
distracted
having to
me.
reach this form of his. Now I'm done having to play nice with this Joker, because if he honestly thinks that he could just go and walk all over me and expect for me not to have a say in the matter here against him during our battle, then he is in for a very rude awakening. And since I didn't expect to go this far as to have to use Ultra Instinct out here against Vegeta, whatever secrets this Saiyan has hidden up his sleeve isn't going to last forever. And while I intend to go and find out on what his tricks are before he continues to go and try them and wear me down by using them, I will not go quietly into the night while allowing for him to go and get away with what he's doing, not by a long shot. And so now if he's looking to go and fire that attack directly towards me with the intention to do as much damage as he possibly can, then he is in for a very rude awakening. To which, as Vegeta was then shown having to fire his final flash, was when Vegeta then went on to quickly respond, "Well, as good as you are and as much as you wanted to go and see where I stood here when compared to you in battle, Lord Beerus, let this go and serve as being the final nail that will drive this battle to an end and put a rest to any doubts that you may have had here against me. Nor so you think, Saiyan." But even now, Beerus continues upon being shown having to close his eyes. "Before this day is through, I will go on to find out as to what you're using here against me, whether we wind up destroying this planet in the process or not, Saiyan." To which it was only just then, within that very moment, as Vegeta was shown having to fire off his final flash directly into one of Beerus's moons, was when Vegeta went on to then quickly respond, "And so now let this be the confirmation that you were looking for in order to finally find out firsthand on which one of us is truly the what the?" And I will go as far as to admit, Beerus responds upon being shown teleporting behind Vegeta, "that you certainly have grown very bold, Vegeta, but don't you dare go and think for a second that your underhanded tactics are going to be what you will be using to overcome me." With Vegeta responding, "Wait, but does he somehow happen to already know, or is he simply going based off of his instincts to tell? And how did he?" And then, just because you may have attempted to go and try it once, Beerus went on to then kick Vegeta away, doesn't mean that I'm going to go and allow for you to go and continue to try this little trick of yours against me without having me stop you in the meantime. Then, while I may not know as to what it was that you were secretly doing behind our backs that had caused for you to implement such a bizarrely interesting technique here against me, I just hope that you know, Vegeta, that while you may have been able to find yourself contending against that fallen angel as you are, I am still even now that much more stronger than you after learning how to finally wield the power of Ultra Instinct for myself. And as I'd also be lying to you if I said that I still wasn't curious about finding out more about what you're doing, because it's not too often where you typically find immortals such as yourself who just so happen to have been able to incorporate such elements into a battle against a destroyer like this. And because of these reasonings, I intend on finding out about everything that you've stumbled across, because although the evidence should be clear by now, Beerus was then shown rushing towards Vegeta, and I still would like to go and know on exactly where you went and had learned these unusual skills from, Saiyan. And then so now with your back against the wall, well, go and cough it up and tell me what it is that I need to know. And more importantly, Beerus continues, is what more do you appear to be hiding from me that you have yet to go and make known within my presence that I am not already unaware of? With Vegeta responding, well, with all due respect, Lord Beerus, but you'll have to go and try a lot harder than that if you wish to go and beat that information out of me so easily, because it was just as I had said prior, for I have been preparing while the rest of you have been napping. With Beerus responding, no, is that what you think that I've been doing since the days of Murno's destruction now, did you? Well, heed my warnings casually here and now, Saiyan, for don't you dare go around and trying to make this personal here between us, because if you just so happen to do, then those demons down there within the demon realm, along with that so-called god of the underworld Raijin, are going to be the absolute least of your worries here once I go and get my hands on you, Vegeta. And as even now, I can't help but wonder on what else you know that you aren't telling me, since I can already see that you are clearly using some kind of a technique to protect yourself from my oncoming attacks. And so understand this now too, that whatever you are using to go and shield your weaknesses isn't going to be what saves you if that is all you have to rely on when up against those demons. And because of this, that is where your weakness lies, Beerus continues upon being shown attacking Vegeta, for you are too caught strung on the battle that you were shown having to be waging against Murno before, that you simply fail to understand that this is what is also hindering you from further having to evolve yourself, and that is why you will always go as far as to remain as you are, as it'll always point back to your fear to begin with. But then, it was only just upon with Vegeta being shown having to grab onto one of Beerus' arms before he was shown having to then attack him, was when Vegeta then went on to quickly respond, or maybe it's your lack of understanding that'll be what secures me the victory over you here, Lord Beerus, because while I've been carefully paying very close attention into figuring out a way to go and bring the fight right back to the demons within the demon realm, you shouldn't go and be so careless as to go and look down upon me just because I'm determined. And if we're going to discuss one another's weaknesses and further having to better ourselves for the fight to come, Vegeta continues, then I think that it should be more than pretty obvious to you by now on what your weaknesses are, Lord Beerus. And because while I continue to stand on my vows to never allow to have what happened with Murno to ever take place with that bastard Raijin from the demon realm, then you should know better than anyone, Vegeta continues upon being shown throwing Beerus across the landscape, then I will ultimately go as far as I would need to in order to go and make sure that something like what happened before never goes on to ever happen again. With Beerus responding, oh damn that mortal, Beerus responds upon being shown wiping his face, for it's clear that whatever it is that he is trying to do is now starting to slowly take its toll on his body. And while I have him within my sights and while his focus is starting to shift, his attacks are losing their edge, and that's where I'll need to go and strike him down before he has a chance to try and recover and gain the upper hand here against me, which is something that I cannot go and allow for him to go and do no matter what the circumstances are, Beerus continues, as I can now slowly begin to see the cracks within his strategy and the frustration within his movement, and so I'll need to go and close in and knock him out now before it's too late. And since he now doesn't appear to notice while attacking me out of anger, now's my chance to go and close in on him while he isn't paying attention. And while I'm unsure on what his next move will be, given how he continues to go and use this strange technique while masking it within those energy blasts of his, Beerus continues, I'll just simply go and try to cut right through by having some of them strike me head on, so that way I can go and create the illusion that he's tagged me, and that's when I'll go and make my move, and having to then come right on in with the finishing strike. But while I find whatever it is that he's trying to use on me to be rather useful in this case, especially by having it stun me several times over when I least expected it throughout the course of this contest, and I am only now starting to wonder on if whatever technique Vegeta has been secretly using has anything to do with that book that he's been shown having to read or not. For now, I couldn't be any more certain that this is the source behind these strange attacks that he's been momentarily shown having to freeze me in place during our battle, and as I am only now more than certain of it now that this must be true. But nevertheless, Beerus continues upon being shown dodging all of Vegeta's blasts. It is time that we go and put an end to this contest before him and I end up destroying everything within the process. And while he's distracted,
Right now we're 7 out of 8, just need one more.
Beerus continues upon being shown rushing on in, then this is where I'll go and make my move. For that was quite the battle, but this is where you fold, Vegeta. As Vegeta went on to then dash towards Beerus by then responding, and I think I got him exactly where I need him, and so yes, and there's my chance. And since he can't appear to see me, and as good of a battle as you managed to go and put up here against me, Lord Beerus, this is where you lose, and so this is where it ends now. What the? Now I've got you, and so now say good, but wait, what the? But how did you just... Oh, incredible reaction timing. So, you were actually fast enough to catch on to my oncoming attack to cancel me out before I can strike you after all, with Vegeta responding, wait, but I thought that surely I was going to slow you down and get the better of you before you were actually able to see me coming, but I guess I wasn't quick enough to go and make my move before you were able to see me coming. Well, fair play, Lord Beerus. Very interesting, Saiyan, because now I see on what it was that you just did, Beerus went on to then quickly chime back in, for you had went and taken that book that you have been reading that Whis had given you and had implemented some kind of a technique against me, and the only reason as to why I know is because I felt you converting your energy into something which you were trying to later use as some kind of a ploy to drain me of my stamina so that way you could win. Is that right, Beerus questions? And to do this, I felt you sacrifice a portion of your own power in order for you to go as far as to paralyze my own, Beerus continues, which I can only go as far as to assume that you must have went and picked up on how to do this after reading that ancient book of the Fallen, now didn't you? And so because of this, although you couldn't go and use dark energy to amplify such a technique, what you ended up doing instead was you relinquished a portion of your own power in order for this to work. Am I right? Yes, of course, because now it's all starting to make sense as to what you've been doing all along to match me, with Vegeta responding, wait, so you were able to notice this entire time? Because if that's the case, then yes, Vegeta says, for that was exactly what I had been going and using out here against you during our battle, Lord Beerus, but was it really that obvious out there, with Beerus being shown powering back down by responding? Well, it wasn't so obvious at first, but I'll admit, Vegeta, for I am rather very impressed for you to even attempt something as intricate as energy neutralization, let alone go and try to make it work against me even for a moment, and is by no stretch of the imagination a small feat for anyone to achieve, Saiyan, as I will go as far as to say that this technique of yours has potential, Beerus continues, for against someone like me, it is nothing more than a nuisance during battle, but against a demon god like Raijin in the chaos of the demon realm, well, that's an entirely different story, Beerus continues, for you may have stumbled upon something that could be very useful in our upcoming battles against Raijin and those demons, Saiyan, but since you are rather still new in having to execute such a technique is what we will have to ultimately need to go and work on, Beerus says, but even now, while I will admit that without this special little technique of yours, I would have beaten you, Vegeta, but with our battle aside, you have gone as far as to pique my interest now, and that is simply because neutralizing an opponent's energy even briefly could turn the tide of any fight that we may end up finding ourselves in, and especially when having to deal with beings as dangerous as those demons within the demon realm. But now just imagine in having to paralyze that rotten demon god Raijin mid-attack and rendering him momentarily vulnerable, Beerus questions, where the sheer sight of victory wouldn't be too far off from that point, now would it, Saiyan? But tell me, does Goku know of a way on how to use this technique as well, with Vegeta responding, well, since Kakarot doesn't seem to have a clue about the ancient book of the Fallen that was given to me by Whis, then no, Vegeta says, for he wouldn't be able to know on how to properly wield or use such a dark technique, and even if he tried, he wouldn't be as effective as it would be if I did it, given my history. Then so no, Kakarot wouldn't know anything about it, and I've just barely started to figure it all out for myself to go and use in battle against anyone, Lord Beerus, with Beerus being shown turning around by responding, well, good, because the last thing that I need is to have that idiot Goku go and completely misuse such a skill and use it on the wrong person in order to go and help them when our mission couldn't be any more clear as to what we need to go and do. And so in the meantime, I think I may have an idea on how we can go and render these demons immobile during battle, especially if feeding it dark energy is a method for the technique to work well enough in getting the job done when we need to. And so we'll need to go and practice, for I have no doubt that if we could would get you to master such a skill, and if we can refine this technique enough to make it stronger and more reliable for when we need it, then perhaps maybe we can go and implement it into our strategy when the time comes to face that demon Raijin and his army, because through this we can go and use that technique of yours to go and freeze him in place and create an opening where he cannot go and use his magic or his power against us, given how I would be backing you by using the nature of my God of Destruction powers alongside with it, to which if this ends up working in our favor, then perhaps we may in fact actually have something on our hands here that just may be what changes the game down there against those freaks once we close in on wiping them all out for good. As with all of the angels now struggling and coming up with a solution in breaking through this barrier in order to reach the sleeping Omni Kings, was when the angel Whis went on to then respond, "Well, be that as it may, my dear siblings, it would only now appear as though while the situation grows more dire by the moment, this barrier that surrounds the Omni King's palace is unlike anything that we've ever encountered before, as even despite with our combined knowledge and power, nothing appears to be working," with Vados having to respond, "And while I second Whis' expression, it is no exaggeration to say that this barrier was crafted with absolute perfection through the wish that was made that forged such a protective layer, as it would only appear as though it had been crafted with a level of intent that seems to counteract every known force, including our own, in having to break through it," with Angel Cuss chiming in, "And we are absolutely sure that this was done by the hands of these dark masters from within the demon realm after gathering and using the Super Dragon Balls, correct? And where exactly is the Grand Minister at the moment, because I am unable to sense his essence no matter where it is that I turn," with Vados responding, "That is correct, for this was all done by the hands of those dark masters, but while we don't know as to what happened to the Grand Minister or where he could be, we still must go about by having to try and locate the Super Dragon Balls along with the Dark Masters before it is too late," with Whis having to then respond, "Well, I'm afraid to say that if we cannot go and find a solution to try and bypass the barrier in time, then the very balance of the entire multiverse itself may end up falling within their control," Whis says, "and while those Dark Masters are slowly advancing their plans by using the Super Dragon Balls within a realm that we cannot yet detect on our own, and if we only continue to go and delay this matter any further, then we will only run the risk in allowing for a force like Raijin to become an even greater threat to us than Myrna was if we don't go and find a way to stop those Dark Masters from using the Super Dragon Balls in time, which to only go and make matters worse, if we remain unable to go and reach the Omni Kings and restore that balance in time," Whis continues, "then their sinisterly ultimate and evil plans will proceed until the very end," as a worried Vados went on to then chime back in, "But how are we to know on which realm they are all currently inside of by using those Super Dragon Balls if we cannot sense the Dragon Ball's magic, since the realm that they are all hiding inside of appears to be masking their life energy, along with the magic that the Super Dragon Balls are able to emit, and if we don't quite know on which time chamber they are all currently hiding within, then where should we go and start looking if we want to go and find them?" with Whis responding, "Well, although it won't be easy, we'll simply have to go and quickly try to scout them all in hopes that we will go and find the exact location of the one in which they are all currently hiding within, and so we must still go and try," Whis says, "for they cannot simply go and think that they can remain hidden and hide within the shadows forever, and so we have to go and search," with Angel Martini having to then chime in, "And what about our residing universes that are left unattended while we go and search for these so-called Dark Masters, as we can't just go and leave them empty without having to help oversee them in case each of our gods of destruction are to somehow fail to stop whatever may be knocking on their front door." "Yes, for I also agree," Angel Mojito went on to then chime in, "and what's even more troublesome about this entire situation is that there is no telling on how much time we will end up wasting in having to search for these creatures, which only leaves our universes open for an attack in case we are not there to help oversee them," with Vados having to then respond, "Well, she's right, Whis, for we cannot hope to waste all of our time here just by searching if it means having to leave our universes open for an attack, and so what do you propose that we should go and do?" with Whis responding, "Well, let us go and try and see if we can search where we can into seeing what other realms and worlds those Dark Masters could be hiding within, so that way we may go and have a better understanding as to where to look and where not to look, since all we can really do is search for them within the moment while that barrier remains," with Angel Cognac having to then respond, "Then we should try and take this time to go search far and wide, since time really isn't something that we have on our hands here, and so because of this we should go and combine our search in hopes of expanding our reach, wouldn't you agree?" with Angel Margarita responding, "Well, then if that's the case, then we should go and try to take the little time that we have here to search as far as we can for any energy signature that we can detect, in hoping to find the realm in which they are using to hide within, and so that way we can only hope that our combined efforts in having to search for those Dragon Balls end up paying off, with Angel Corn having to then chime in. So shall we go and see what we can find while we attempt to skim through the vast multitude of realms and dimensions now then, with Cuss having to then chime in? Well, ultimately it's worth a shot, and so now let us all go and hone in on where they could possibly be while we can, because if we don't at least stop to try to find out as to where they are, then this could ultimately backfire on us all later on if we don't go and end up taking action now. Right, and so now then Whis responds upon having to see all 12 angels point their staffs in the middle by having to search every single realm together as they did. Then let us now go and look and see what we can find, because while it is still very important for us to pinpoint the exact whereabouts of where those Dark Masters are keeping those Super Dragon Balls, the quicker we are able to go and trace their energy source, then the faster the chances will be in having to stop them from using them before it's too late, with Vados having to then chime back in. And then to even think that these demons had gone as far as to not only gather but use the Super Dragon Balls the way they did is not only concerning and having me wonder on what else they intend on using them for, but it is also very urgent that we make sure to stop them beforehand before they are able to use them again, with Whis having to then chime back in. Well, just keep searching, fellow angels, and if you just so happen to stumble upon any known signature that traces back to the Super Dragon Balls, Whis continues, then that will more than likely be the dimension that they are all hiding within, but so far I don't appear to be seeing anything on my end, with Vados chiming back in. Well, neither do I, but with so many dimensions and so many realms that are made available in exploring, we'll just have to go and be very careful to not overlook any of them while we're searching, for even the slightest inclination can be served within our favor, as Angel Cuss went on to then respond. Well, so far I don't appear to sense or see anything on my end either, and with so many realms and dimensions for us to go and look into, the Super Dragon Balls along with those Dark Masters could be hiding anywhere, but just keep looking, fellow angels, with Margarita having to then respond. And if we only just had a little bit more time in expanding our search, then I have no doubt that we would have been able to find them, but since we aren't in any position to wait any longer, it unfortunately doesn't appear as though that I am able to go and find them on my end either, with Angel Cognac having to then respond, and the same can be said for me as well. And if we cannot go and find a way to locate the Grand Minister and free the Omni Kings from their captivity, then I can only go and imagine as to the horrors that will wait if they are no longer around to help aid us during this entire ordeal. As Angel Cocktail went on to then respond, well, I don't appear to be getting anything on my end here either, which likely means that those Dark Masters are using some kind of an energy masking technique that is preventing themselves and the Super Dragon Balls from being located. But then, it was only just within that very moment, as all 12 angels had come across a very unknown and strange energy signature, was when Vados went on to then quickly respond, "Hey, wait a second now, hold on, did the rest of you just go and feel what I just felt? That sudden but yet very faint surge of energy just now. Or did you happen to also go and feel that too, Whis?" With Whis responding, "I did, and from what it was that I had just sensed, would only seem as though there is something that is beginning to faintly echo throughout the multiverse, which only now leaves me to believe that the Dark Masters must have likely started to go and use the Super Dragon Balls once more to go and make another wish, but it is almost impossible for me to go and trace the source on where this echo had just came from," with Angel Kapari then having to respond, "Well, whatever that was is gone by now, but to attempt to try and trace it back to a source almost seems impossible with the way this energy surge had passed us by, but what say you, Sour?" "Well, I in fact second this notion," Angel Sour went on to then respond, "which only now raises that many more concerns about our universes if we don't do something and return to them in time. For I couldn't go and agree more," Angel Margarita went on to then chime in, "as something's wrong, and while we can't seem to trace on where that surge of energy was just shown having to come from, as our universes remain open without having us stand by them, we only further run the risk in having all of them be destroyed if we don't go and take some kind of an action now. Oh, and while I unfortunately have to agree with the idea that we will have to go and cut our search off short in looking for them," Angel Cuss went on to then respond, "it would only be best if we go and stand guard in defending our universes before we are to allow for something to go and happen to them in the meantime," with Whis responding, "And while I also hereby sense a strong disturbance that is starting to echo throughout the multiverse, I am hereby left with no other choice since we cannot seem to locate the Dragon Balls on our own, for I would only now be left with one other choice, and that is to go and seek out their creator Zalama for answers, since he in fact may be our very last hope in finding the Super Dragon Balls," Whis says, "and especially since he was the one who had originally created them for Grand Zeno to go and use, as I would have no no doubt that if there is anyone who can help grant us the knowledge that we need to shatter this barrier and reclaim the Super Dragon Balls, then it's no doubt going to be the creator Zalama who can. And so while I volunteer to undertake this journey to locate Zalama and seek out his wisdom alone, Whis continues, the rest of you are to return back to your respective universes and wait on my return for an answer on what I found, for the stakes themselves that are on the line could not be any higher, and so you all must go and take your leave now while I go on my search to go and try to find him. And so now hurry and go and make your way back to your worlds, as I will go and inform you all with what I find as I go and take my leave to find Zalama now. And so in the meantime, Whis went on to address Vados upon having to see the other 10 angels then take their leave. And I only ask for you to go and look after yourself, and please be aware of your surroundings in the meantime while I go and see what I can find. For if I am unable to go and find the solution to this problem, then we are all on our own, and so now please be cautious, with Vados responding, and as should you, Whis, and if anything were to go and happen, I will go and let the others know in the meantime while we go and hope to get down to the bottom of this mess, and so now please do your best, Whis. Which it was only then within that very moment, as both Whis and Vados, the final 2 angels, were then shown having to take their leave, was when Whis went on to then quickly respond, and I will, but let's just hope that we are not too late in having to stop these demons, as I could only hope that time is still on our side in the long run by the time this day is through, Whis says. To which all the while in the meantime, as this was shown happening, when then having to venture on over into Capsule Corp and having to oversee the android speak with both Bulma and Dr. Hedo, was when Android 18 then went on to respond, so that little piece in 17's hand over there came from one of those demons that you believe you can go and use to do what with us now? And why exactly should we be so trusting of you to begin with, Dr. Hedo? With 17 having to respond, and let's not go and forget about the fact that you're also related to Dr. Giro, and you should already be well aware of what it was that we went and did with him once we went and find out that he was planning on betraying us in the long run, and so why should we go and trust you? Well, because if what it was that Goku had said that he had seen within that demon realm is to be true, Bulma responds, then we're going to need all of the help and all of the enhancements that we could get our hands on.
Alright guys, I'm
if
gonna
we
end
hope
the
to
stream
walk
now.
away from this entire
I got some
ordeal
stuff to
with
do,
our planet
and
intact,
I'm gonna
which
go
I'm
live
pretty
in
sure that
like
the two of you
another
can
30
already go
minutes,
and
so I'll
attest
be right
for,
back in
given
like
what
half an hour.
happened the last time we were placed
Give the
in a
video a
hopeless
thumbs up,
situation
subscribe, and I'll
like
see you
this,
guys in a
as
bit.
Dr. Hedo went on to
Thank
then
you for watching.
respond, well, when given the
Peace.
nature on how my grandfather and I are completely opposite with